really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been patted. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're in hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out the books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities are never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them, this is my ship, I'm a jacket like Letterman, y'all but not let them in, they gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling, started a chain, the cycle is heaven sent, this is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit, I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah, said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah, I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out, step in it, yeah, and I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here, watch out, touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch, everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now, have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that, big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that, work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that, had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my, yeah. Run it, I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been patted. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're in hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out the books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities are never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them, this is my ship, I'm a jacket like Letterman, y'all but not let them in, they gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling, started a chain, the cycle is heaven sent, this is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit, I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah, said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah, I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out, step in it, yeah, and I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here, watch out, touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch, everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now, have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that, big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that, work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins, yeah, I did all that, had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, hit the ground, then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really my time, think it's my year.
Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. We are back in the building. Jay, what's going on with you, bruh?
What's going on, man? Lots of things this last week.
Yeah, lots of things. Lots of things, as you would say. All right, man, let me go ahead and check and see who we got in the building. We got 31 people in the building. Devontae McLemore? I'm sorry, man. That's the first time I've seen your name. But what's going on with you, bro? Brother Eli, Benai Wright, what's going on? Brian S., my guys in the building. T Ward, itty bitty bad boy. Harrison Brooks, what's going on with you, man? Tunnel vision. Greg's wife heard screaming, ran upstairs and found him flexing in the mirror, screaming as I was right. I was right. That's a good one, Tunnel Vision. I appreciate the donation, man. Thank you. Oh man. So Jay, we got to go ahead and kick it off, man, with the people that support the channel. So Rock Dog Interactive, anything you guys need from a technical standpoint relative to websites, Bitcoin, graphic design, you name it, these guys do it. And of course, Black Father Figures. That's our guy, the League of Legacies. He's doing wonderful work in that area, and he's always supporting the channel. You can always catch him in the comment section. And yeah, we got one more sponsor coming too, guys. I've been waiting for the product to get here, but I haven't received it yet. But soon we'll be talking about the newest entity that is supporting the channel. All right, Jay. Man, we got to dive into it, bro. Last week, on purpose, if any of you guys were with us last week, you will know that we did not mention Terence Crawford or Errol Spence one time. We didn't say their names not one time. And that was by design because we were tired of hearing about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence in a fight not being announced. As a matter of fact, Jay, I guess we can go ahead and say this at this point. We heard on Monday that something was coming by the end of the week. That's what we heard. Still wasn't going to say anything about it because we learned our lesson. And we had already done a video basically saying, hey, if we don't hear something by the end of the week, this fight is dead. We just never had the opportunity to release it because I was traveling and so forth and so on. And now the fight is here. And everybody that said the fight wasn't going to happen, a la Tunnel Vision, they can now say, you know what? I was wrong. I was dead wrong. And now we're going to jump into talking about this fight, Jay. So I think the vast majority of this show is going to be dedicated to talking about this fight because I'm pretty sure people want to dig into that. So, Jay, where do you want to start?
I mean, I'm glad they finally released the video from the interview with $1 Million Game with Crawford instead of giving those little shorts so we get more context on a lot of it. So I mean, we can start there with that interview.
Yep. So we actually we dropped a couple of things on that. He talked a little bit about Boots. Apparently they also called Danny Garcia. I'm gonna go ahead and let you lead the way on that one, Jay, because I haven't watched the interview in its entirety. So what were your thoughts on the interview?
It was funny because like Brian has said, Bozy exposed him because he said
Bozy exposed who?
Bud, because Bud was trying to be all big and like, oh well, you know, they ain't do this. Why he go the IBF route? And Bozy was like, man, you could have fought us instead of David Avenesian, but you probably wouldn't have fought us anyway. And then Bud's like, yeah, probably, you know, I probably would have did so. I had bigger fish to fry. So all that bullshit saying that Boots was ducking all that shit there.
What were the bigger fish? Was David Avenesian the bigger fish?
The only bigger fish was the big fish. It's Spence, and we knew he wasn't going there at that point in time. So he was bullshitting. You know, remember at first he said, well, Boots and Virgil name never came across his desk, but this dude ranked number 6 did, who was already involved in that fight already.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't say that. He didn't say jack shit after that. After that, he was quiet and they kind of pivoted to something else. He never addressed it. So, you know, it's just like, I'm like, we've been through this. We've been through this. Now, I give him credit on what about Virgil. Virgil did back out.
Hold on, Jay. Ray Sanders is saying you are misrepresenting the conversation. I don't know what you mean by that.
How am I misrepresenting the conversation about that? Did he not respond to Boots, Bozy?
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak to it. I like how they call both Boots Pop and Danny Lie. That was cool. I think Bud is delusional.
Yeah, that was dope that he did that. They said Bud completely dismissed why he chose Avenesian. He tried to make it seem like he chose him because he said, well, because Boots went the other way. Boots was still ranked at the time. At the time. So, I mean.
Here's the deal with that. And I guess I'm going to piggyback off the point that you're making. I've said this on multiple occasions, and people can say what it is they want to say. But Terence Crawford has learned a thing or two about changing the narrative and trying to change the narrative. And so this whole situation with Boots Ennis, we already understand that Boots did not necessarily choose an IBF route or a WBO route. We understand that Terence Crawford is pulling this information from some of the things that he's seeing in the comment section from his fans. And he's piggybacking off of that and trying to ride with it. At the end of the day, the WBO rankings from 1 through 4 since the end of 2020, they didn't really materially change. And I did the research on that. I saw that myself. Those rankings did not change. The rankings in the IBF did. Therefore, they took the IBF route, if you will, if you want to call it an IBF route. But at the time in which he actually fought David Avenesian, at that time, Boots Ennis, he didn't have a fight lined up, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't fight for the IBF mandatory until when was that? Was that January or February, if I'm not mistaken? So there was an opportunity to reach out to Boots Ennis and try to make that fight. They chose not to do that. And that's perfectly fine. Just say that, though. But that's the part about Terence Crawford, man, that I just feel like it makes me not like him as a professional athlete, because he doesn't. It's like he's constantly trying to change the narrative, man, and that's my issue. But anyway, Jay, what else did you find interesting as a part of that conversation that $1 Million Worth of Game had with Terence Crawford?
I found it interesting how he wanted to discredit Danny Garcia's resume. Talking about what has he done at 147, who has he beaten. Now, he has a point when he asked him, he's like, name the best fighter that what Danny did. He gave Danny credit at 140. At 147, he was like, well, who was the best? Who did Danny beat? The same question be asked to Bud. Who did you beat at 147? The same question can be asked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there like, so you want to shit on his resume at 147, but you want to try to big up your resume. In addition to that, he wanted to talk about the Sean Porter fight and the Kell Brook fight. Can anyone in the chat tell me how the hell is him fighting Kell Brook better than Spence fighting Kell Brook? How did he fight a better version of Kell Brook? How?
He discredited Danny for. Yeah, I mean, that whole situation right there, we did a video on, and I thought that was very interesting that he feels that he fought a better version of Kell Brook, which makes absolutely positively no sense whatsoever, considering the fact that Errol Spence fought a version of Kell Brook that was younger, that only had one broken eye socket, that was ranked, I believe, in the top 10 pound for pound at the time, versus the version that he fought, which was about 4 years later, that was coming down from 154 pounds. And had the nerves, Jay, had the audacity to say that the version that Errol Spence fought also was weight drained because he was coming from 160, although he's forgetting the fact that the kid was actually at 147 and decided to try to be great and go fight Triple G at 160 and then came back to his natural weight, versus the version that he fought that came from 154 back down to 147 pounds. That version wasn't weight drained, but the version that Errol Spence that was younger and probably more probably in a better position to actually be able to deal with changes and fluctuations in weight. That version was the better version. Like, how does that even remotely make any sense? And by the way, the first 2 or 3 rounds, he was actually losing when he was fighting out of an orthodox stance. Those are the types of comments. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Jason Williams. Kell Brook dropped down from 154 to fight Bud.
Yeah, and Kell Brook, come on, man. Kell Brook is not a natural 160-pound fighter. Jason Williams. Stop the cap, man. Stop the cap. So now the whole conversation in terms of Danny Garcia and who is he beat at 147 pounds, I guess you can say that that's a fair statement. But if you look up and down the resumes of both Danny Garcia, but if you look at up and down both the resumes of Danny Garcia and Terence Crawford, the same question can be asked of Terence Crawford. Who have you beat at 147 pounds? As a matter of fact, I could honestly ask the question across Terence Crawford's entire resume. Who's the best fighter on Terence Crawford's resume that he's beaten? Gamboa, who was 2 weight classes above the weight that he normally operates at, 135 pounds. He's really naturally a 126-pound fighter. And that's the best name he has on his resume. Or Victor Postal, who subsequent to the fight with Terence Crawford lost 60% of his fights. So he obviously wasn't all that good as well. So when he starts to go down that resume path, that's, in my opinion, that's a slippery slope for someone like Terence Crawford. He should leave the resume conversations alone, in my opinion.
He really should have, man. I just found it funny. I'm just like, dude, it's the same shit that you're going through. This the same shit that you're trying to shit on him, but it could be applied to you as well. You know,
bad up, say I'm capping.
I find it funny. Are you talking about capping? Probably I think about Bud getting hit in the Orthodox or Southpaw side. I think saw part of that in the chat.
He was getting hit when he was in the Orthodox.
Bud had me rolling though. He called Boots a young pup. he said if you believe I dunked, I didn't want to smoke or whatever. So he didn't say that, but so many words he said that. He said you're drunk and he's sleepy. That shit had me rolling. Bud had me rolling with that comment. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He had me rolling with that one. You know, but the shit about the fact that he took the time to try to explain about Kell Brook and he was completely wrong is just sad. You know, it's like Chicken Talk said, you know, that's all in the past. He really should be just focusing on EJ. You know, that's what he really should just really be talking about, thinking about, instead of talking about who fought better, who looked better against the past competition. Because it's not a contest in that sense there. Both those fights he fought were already done, man.
But riddle me this, Jay, because we'll do a video on the topic and we'll see people in the comment section talking about why you guys still talking about these different things. If that's all over with, they're fighting now. Bud has accepted the challenge. So why are you still talking about this? I'm like, why is he still talking about it then?
Yeah, he is him.
He's the one that's talking about it. So if he's going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. And even if he's not talking about it, everything that we're talking about, and this is the thing that I don't understand about some of these fighters. At the end of the day, whether it's good press or bad press, you're getting press, right? Mm-hmm. And not to say that we're the biggest channel in the land, because certainly we're far from that. But at the end of the day, everything that we're doing is promoting this fight. So as far as I'm concerned, every time we talk about it, every time you see people in the comment section talking about it, it's getting the blood boiling for all the boxing fans, and we're getting excited about the fight. So these guys should be, you know, happy, thrilled, excited that that we're talking about potentially these two individuals getting in the ring. So, Jay, anything else that came out of that interview?
I mean, it's false. I found it funny also, but talking about it was pretty much with him, the whole other side of the street evolved. That's when that first came out. That's when all that shit started happening. And he went back to that talking point talking about, well, Spence said he was going to take the easier route, meaning that he was going to take the easier route of making fights.
Yeah, says same shit he said on First Take.
On First Take. So he went back to that talking point again.
The same fucking talking point that he gets from his fans.
You know, so I'm just sitting here like, how's the easier route when he went through and got 2 more belts?
I don't know.
How's that easier route? And he's fought tougher competition than you at 147. But it's the easier route. Make it make sense.
Indian God said, I'm going for Bud, but I hate whenever he talks because it's usually lie after lie. That's fact. The stuff he say doesn't really make sense.
That's the frustrating thing. Not at all. Not at all. That's the most frustrating thing with Bud. I mean, Bud is very talented. No one can take that away from him. But all the moving the goalposts and trying to change the narrative on stuff that he already said, and then changing it and saying almost like he didn't say, like, this shit ain't on video. I mean, I rewatched that first video he did when he talked about the BLK Prime fight when he was going there. Man, my head hurt so bad because he was going all over the place. He switched it up.
So let me Let me address something that Band Up said in the chat. Why not take his belt right then? There's a number of reasons why you wouldn't take his belt right then. Number one, you have the fight that you have currently today, which is going to be the biggest fight in the welterweight division for the last 40 years. And part of the reason why it is that is because it's for undisputed. So it was in the best interest of both Bud Crawford and Errol Spence for this to be an undisputed fight and for both of them to actually wait for the fight. That's number one, right, Jay?
Yep.
Number two, when you think about the difficulties in negotiating with Terence Crawford to begin with, and shout out to my guy Chicken Talk too, because I saw him in the chat section and hadn't had the opportunity to say shout out to him. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to his channel, and also T Ward, he's in the building. Go subscribe. When you think about the negotiations with Terence Crawford, Jay, it was an arduous process, right? Took a year in reality to make the fight. So what makes you think with another promoter involved that fight would have gotten made at that point and that they would actually have the opportunity to make that fight? So that's the reason why he didn't try to take his fight right then, Band Up. The whole comment about the easy route was the route in which he could actually make fights. Jason Williams, Greg is Mr. Marination. I don't even know what that means.
Tommy, you just want to fight to marinate. I'm trying to say you want everything to marinate.
Oh. It needed to marinate. Well, it marinated too long for sure, but yeah. Anyway, Jay, anything else, man, coming out of that conversation?
I mean,
that you want to talk about?
I wish it had come out. I see they released it at perfect timing as far as like to get more buzz on it, because they released it. This was obviously filmed before the announcement came out between Bud and Spence. So, but overall, I mean, Bud is funny. I give Bud was chill. He was mad, relaxed, and clowning with him the whole time and everything. So I mean, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with Bud as a person or as a fighter. It's just his business acumen, and the lies is what bothers me. You know, that shit just bothers the hell out of me.
I think Bud is probably a genuinely cool dude, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he is. I think he's the type of individual though that believes he's smarter than anybody that's in the room, which I don't quite understand why he would ever believe that. But for whatever reason, he believes that he's the smartest man in the room and that he can manipulate, change the narratives, kind of stretch the truth. And that's the part that I've always had an issue with relative to Crawford. And I'm going to call him out on it anytime he does it, because it's so blatant with him too, Jay. Don't get me wrong. All boxers do it, right? All boxers do that. There's not a single boxer that I have seen that doesn't necessarily stretch the truth to some extent, other than maybe like Errol doesn't really seem to do so. But all of them to some extent, man, you know, they play on semantics and things of that nature in order to make their point or to avoid a particular topic. And I understand that. I don't have an issue with that, but Bud is so blatant with it, bro, that it just drives me nuts. And so I have to call it out when he does it. Right. Jay, a lot of me. It is. And then shout out to Tunnel Vision too, man, because you know we're gonna call his ass to the carpet today, boy. We're gonna call him to the carpet because he has been saying for the longest that this fight was not gonna get made. And I gotta poke at him a little bit, gotta poke at him a little bit. Jay, is there anything else you want to tackle relative to this interview, or do we want to talk a little bit about the first interaction between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence that we've seen, which was on First Take?
Now we can go to First Take, man. That's funny with Brian. That's Bud did call himself. They're talking about, because Bud said he can play basketball, and he said he would he's like, people call him pretty much Jordan on the court. Because the other cat was calling himself, he's like, yeah, they call me Gilly the Kid or Gilly Billups or some shit like that. So Bud going to tell me he's the MJ. Because Gilly was like, I never lose to a boxer in basketball. Never. But I heard Bud got some game though.
Yeah, probably for a boxer. Anyway, First Take, bruh. That was the first opportunity to see these two gentlemen interact with each other. I thought it was interesting. Number one, the first thing I noticed was Bud Crawford. I thought Bud looked like he was cool, calm, confident, collected. seemed to be at ease. And I felt that was impressive, right? That tells me that Bud feels like, he's in a position to win this fight and that he's very confident that he can win the fight. From Errol's side, I saw someone that looked agitated. Errol looked agitated to me. Errol looked like someone, like when Bud made the comment talking about, he took the easy route. Errol was like, okay. We're here now. And so whatever happened in the past, it happened in the past, but we're here now, right? And so that to me it struck me as someone that's agitated, that's irritated, that, this took a long time to make this fight, that, I've been wanting to make this fight. I probably had to make some concessions that probably were not required or not deserved on your behalf. And so I think really Errol want to put it on his ass would be my opinion. Jay, what were your thoughts on that initial interaction between these two fighters?
Now, that was the first thing I noticed was Earl looked like he was annoyed. He looked pissed.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way Stephen A. gave that question to try to point the finger at Spence, like, hey, why did it take so long, Greg?
Yeah, that was crazy. That's some ESPN holdover shit, probably coming from Cappinger.
Yeah, so I give Spence credit because he didn't give that shit any fuel. He didn't give that fire no fuel for it. He just kept it moving. Like, hey, that's in the past. We here now. So that's it. But again, like we mentioned earlier, Bud went to that. Well, he took the easy route. Spence didn't take the bait. Spence to me, he's not one to really try to go back and forth and all that shit for the most part. He just want to get the business. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like you said, Bud looked calm, cool, and collected. He was just chilling. I think Bud is more or less probably a character, jokes anyway, of the two. But yeah, Spence, to me, his demeanor, like he was just ready about business.
Ray Sanders, help me understand. Where did you see Errol Spence say that he basically had to force his team to make the fight? Because I haven't heard or seen that. Had to fight. Now Jason Williams is piggybacking off of that, and I haven't heard that from anybody else. So help me understand where you guys saw that.
Oh, but
I didn't see it.
Were any of y'all saying that Spence was ducking Bud because he was gonna fight Thurman? And y'all gonna fess up now and say that was never true and that was all bullshit? Yeah, but Spence said he's sitting until he's sitting until the fight gets made. Just mean that he's willing to wait. Keyword wait on Bud, no matter what.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to sit around and wait, and that's the part about Errol Spence where I say, man, he's a real stand-up dude. Think about this, and I'm gonna Jonesy baby, what's going on with you? I'm gonna propose this to everybody that's currently in the chat, specifically for those of you who support Terence Crawford. Look at everything Errol Spence said he was going to do. He said, I'm going to clean up my side of the street. That means I'm going to win the WBA, the IBF, and the WBC. He did exactly that. Although he went through a car accident, a detached retina, he still accomplished everything that he said he was going to do. He said he was never going to fight Keith Thurman, although that was an easy route out, specifically and especially after the negotiations fell apart with Terence Crawford. He still kept his word and said, I'm not fighting Keith Thurman, and was willing to sit around and wait it out, and more than likely gave up concessions that he wouldn't normally have to give up to a fighter like Terence Crawford, who doesn't necessarily fill asses in seats, right? So you guys tell me. I'm talking about the Jason Williams of the world. I'm talking about the Ray Sanders and everybody else in the chat section that supports Terence Crawford. Can you guys admit that this dude is probably the most stand-up individual currently in the sport today? And think about what you just said, because you said he had to force his team. I haven't heard that from anywhere, but if you truly believe that, then obviously he's done everything that you said that he did, and that we said that he was going to do, and that he said he was going to do. So help me understand that.
Hey, not on that. It's everyone. They're trying to blame Al. Of course, Al's going to give him other fighters.
Man, well, I'm not talking about Al.
Fight.
I'm not talking about Al.
I'm talking about what they said in the chat. I'm talking about what they talking about in the chat. So there's like, he said no to all the other fighters Al was probably giving him. Al was giving him fights to giving him fights to try to keep him busy, because the person he wanted to fight went out and fought somebody else in November.
But hold up, Jake. Jason Williams said Errol did what Al Heyman planned out for him. Get the fuck up out of here. Then what you're saying is that he planned for him to win all the belts on his side, then go fight Terence Crawford. Was that the plan? Because that's what just occurred, and that's what we're talking about. So is that what you're saying? Because that's what occurred. I'm not understanding why you feel that like you made a significant point there.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to make it seem like Al said, "Well, don't fight Bud, fight someone else." He probably, I mean, if I'm his advisor, I might tell him like, "Hey, you know, we got these other fights lined up here. Bud tripping. We know you want this undisputed right now, but Bud tripping, and we don't want you being out the ring for too much longer." That's any advisor is going to tell him that because the inactivity can hurt you.
Facts.
You know, only one person went away from negotiations and fought somebody else. That was Bud. Some of y'all saying that Bud did that. So y'all can't say that Spence tried to age him out or anything like that. If anything, Bud took a fight, and now Spence has been inactive for over a year, and y'all were bitching about that.
They literally plan to avoid a guy, and this is coming. So you're conveniently forgetting that when Bud initially, I'm talking to Trill Hill, when Bud initially got it to 147 pounds, he could have called Spence out directly. He went the WBO route, like you guys want to say, and chose Jeff Horn. And his trainer also told publications that they didn't want to fight Errol initially. And then even after he won the WBO belt, his sight was set on Keith Thurman. He said that Errol Spence wasn't the man. So are you saying that Bud was also ducking Spence? Keith had a belt. He had one belt, I think, at the time. He might have had two. I can't recall right now. But Errol also had a belt. So, and Errol was saying he needed to clean up his side of the street. So using that same logic, Errol was calling out Keith as well. So how is it that Errol was ducking him? Because he was calling out Keith, but Terence wasn't ducking when he was calling out Keith. Make it make sense, bruh. Trill Hill, it doesn't matter how many belts he had, bro. Make it make sense. They both were calling out Keith Thurman. They both had two belts. You just said it was okay for Terence Crawford to call him out because he had two belts. Well, that's what Errol Spence was doing. So then how is it possible that Errol Spence was ducking Terence Crawford? Shit doesn't make sense, bruh. Come on, man.
Right. This is why I see why they like Bud has some fans. They moved the fucking goalpost. Now it's Al's fault. Al was trying to stop the fight. But earlier they said Errol was a duck. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, y'all. I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make any sense.
Only one person walked away from negotiations and did a backdoor deal. Only one person did that.
Tunnel Vision just hit us with the 5. Appreciate you, bro. When Bud first got his belt, Arms said the fight didn't make business sense because not enough money. There you have it. There you have it. Like, let's stop with this whole notion that Bud. There's this narrative that they're trying to put out there that Terence Crawford wanted Errol Spence for the last 4 years, and the shit is not true. It's not true. He started making comments in regards to both Keith Thurman and Errol Spence somewhere in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And even then, Errol was already he was already focused on and Chicken Talk. He can actually tell you a little bit about some of the details that occurred relative to the actual meeting that occurred between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. So there's a lot of background stuff that people don't even know about. They just be talking, and it's just false. Jay, what else do we have on the docket, my brother? See how I called you my brother today? I'm being nice. I'm being cordial. I'm trying to make sure that you're comfortable, man, that you feel good.
That's because today we got one common enemy, Bud. Now I'm messing with y'all. Am I though? Now, try to get me there. I think Jason Williams shot something at me, man. Let's see. We already talked about that.
No, so a couple things. He ain't shit today either. Go ahead.
I love our people. But now it's interesting. Now that the fight has been made, we can actually start talking about the fight itself. Now people talking about Bud is going to dominate Spence, or Spence can dominate Bud. I think it's a good fight, great fight, close fight. I still feel Spence is the better. Is going to win this fight. The way Bud's style is, I don't know if he dominates Spence, or if he's able to dominate Spence. Like Spence would be able to dominate him, just because Spence punishes you. You know what I'm saying? Bud has got knockouts against C and B level fighters, and it's quick. Spence has been abusing people down. He beats you down. He makes you submit, or your body quit damn near. So I give that to Spence on that. Not
Brenda
saying Bud
McDonald's
can't
in the
win.
building. What's going on, Brenda? Brenda,
So here we go, Brenda. Welcome back, Brenda.
She say he's gonna get flatlined.
Jason Williams said he want his money's worth. I waited this long. I don't want a 12-round chess match.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. So if you guys haven't had the opportunity, we reposted a video of me breaking down the fight. Ray Sanders, the back and forth they had backstage at the fight was in 2018, so it wasn't 4 years ago. Okay. I'm not sure what that's in regards to, Ray. So excuse me. It's probably something that I said here recently, but I don't recall exactly what it was I said. So forgive me for that. So we reposted a fight breakdown that I did a little while ago, and I think it's an interesting fight. And I was trying to look at certain fights from Terence Crawford and his fighting style and what he does well, and what he some of the flaws in his game, and also Errol Spence, what he does well, and some of the flaws in his game. And I feel like I did a pretty good job in representing that, Jay. Maybe I didn't. Maybe other people feel differently, but I thought it was as unbiased as I could possibly be, given my position in terms of how I feel this fight could possibly play out and where guys may have an opportunity in the fight. Crawford has really good speed. I wouldn't say he's fast, but he has really good speed. A lot of people talk about, excuse me. A lot of people talk about his footwork. Jay, I don't see it. Not in his most recent fights. His footwork is not like it was back when he was at 140 and 135. So that's not there anymore. Terence Crawford is a hell of a counterpuncher, does a lot of counterpunching. He likes to bait with his jab to get people to commit so he can start throwing the counter. Particularly against orthodox fighters, he'll try to catch them with the left hook coming in. Someone like Porter was tailor-made for him. You don't have the reach advantage, and so you're trying to leap in to get your shots off, and it's just going to set you up to get caught by somebody like Crawford. Errol got that stick, but sometimes he can become a little bit predictable in his style. I think that's why Porter was able to have some level of success against him. So that's something that he's going to have to make sure that he's varying. But that jab, that stick that, opens up and sets up all of his offense, both up top and to the bottom, or to the body, I think it's going to present some challenges for Crawford. So both of them, just stylistically, they have things that they bring to the table that I feel are going to cause the other ones challenges. And so that's the reason why I think it's going to be a close fight, in my opinion.
I think it's gonna be a close fight. I think overall, I think Spence is going to wear Bud down. Because I remember him fighting David Avenesian, which was Bud's last fight, and he was in the pocket. He was getting hit. He was getting caught, by David Avenesian at times. Now, is he going to do that? Is he going to stay in the pocket against someone that has more power? I don't know, because the level of competition he's fought at 147 hasn't been the greatest. I'm trying to think of people he fought at 147 that had power. What, Porter? 1 foot in, 1 foot out?
Bud is naturally a counterpuncher. Spence will force him to actually fight and do more than just counterpunch. I want to see if Bud can hold up to the pressure Spence puts on him. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. That reminds me of, so I was actually watching a video earlier today, and it was Gary Russell. And Gary Russell talked about the defensive deficiencies relative to Terence Crawford, and I agree with him. Crawford's defense is really like his offense and his athleticism. That's his defense. Like Crawford isn't this guy that's like rolling and just, ducking up, you know what I'm saying, slipping a lot of punches and countering and stuff like that. That's not Terence Crawford. Crawford is more about controlling range as his defense and counter punching. That's really his defense. And so Garrett Russell saying that he has some deficiencies in his defense, whereas Errol Spence is more defensively responsible, I agree with. And his thought was somewhere around 7, 8, 9. He said Errol gonna start walking his ass down like he Jason, dropping them dumbbells on his ass. And I thought that was an interesting way to put it because, you know how Jason Voorhees was, right? I mean, literally, he just kept coming and just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And it's like, it seemed like you were running as fast as you could and you were getting away from him. The next thing you know, he's right fuck there on you, right? So I think that was a great analogy. That's the reason why if anybody can be dominant in this fight, I think it's more than likely going to be Spence. And it'll be domination late from the accumulation of damage and kind of wearing Bud down. I think early, unless you consider being able to clip someone, because Bud with the counter puncher ability, he's more likely to hit you with something that you didn't see. So if you count that as being dominant, then yeah, maybe Bud can clip him with something and then get him up out of there. I don't know. But as far as like, I'm saying dominant is like you're just kicking this guy's ass the entire fight or a large portion of the fight. I think more than likely that's going to occur from someone like Errol versus Bud, my opinion.
No, yeah, I agree. Oh, another thing from the interview that Cool JC26 just reminded me of that was addressed in there. So they were talking about getting rocked, and he was like, we've never really seen Errol rocked. We've seen you rock. You got rocked by Gamboa. And
we saw Errol
finally
rock
admitted
before.
to it. Not with the stinking leg like Gamboa rock Bud though.
Mm-hmm.
But he admitted to that. He admitted to it, like, yeah, he got rocked, but he admitted to getting rocked by Gamboa. I was like, wow, so he did admit to that. But I mean, it's gonna be a great fight. I think they're gonna definitely have to feel each other out, what they do, because Spence said in first take, Spence said, I'm coming in the ring, I'm stepping to him. He expects Bud to step to him too, but I don't think Bud's going to step straight to Spence like that. That would be stupid. I think Bud needs to be smart and box.
I don't think that's the thing, man. In my opinion, and this is just, again, man, I don't know how this fight's going to play out. And that's the reason why I feel like this fight is so exciting and so big for the sport. In my opinion, based off what I've seen from Terence Crawford, and I've watched a lot of Terence Crawford videos over the last, let's call it 8 to 10 months. Crawford's primary strength is actually his range. Crawford, his range is so great for someone that's even at 147 pounds. Now imagine what his range was at 135, 140. But even at 147, his reach is so great that he can hit most fighters from a distance that fighter can't hit him. So you have to figure out how to get in on him. And what he's developed into is one of the best counter punchers in the game. And that is what has made him so great. Errol's reach, I think it's like 2 inches shorter. But I still believe just because of Errol's overall size, I think Errol's going to be able to hit him from range where Terence won't be able to get full leverage on a punch like he does with other fighters, which makes me feel that he's going to have to either be more offensive, which I think Errol will be able to handle, or he's going to try to move, which I don't think he's going to be able to do all fight long. If you track with what I'm saying. Difference. Yeah. So I just feel like some of those advantages that he's had in the past, I don't think he's going to have in this fight. And I think that's going to make for a very interesting fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm excited this fight is here. We still got to get to the finish line, get our way down to July 29th. But the fact that they've already done their first interview, although they weren't in the same building, they got it out the way on first take. I'm happy. I'm happy about this. So this is going to be a great fight. Oh yeah. Since Bud has a 2-fight deal, does that mean PBC is no longer broke?
I would imagine that it does. That's what it means. Yeah.
I
would imagine so.
I just think all the shit we saw in the comment section, Greg. And the longest, man, it's been crazy, man.
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. But man, what else do we have on the what else do we have on the docket?
Well, I mean, the transition a little bit from the Bud Spence convo, Haney. Is he daring to be great to try to fight potentially Regis Prograis, or is it a duck away from fighting Tank and Shakur?
Can't be considered a duck.
I don't think so either.
If you're fighting Regis Prograis, it can't be considered a duck. Period. End of story. So I think we'll see where he goes. We'll see if he actually try to make that fight. Because I'm not sure. I mean, right now it's kind of just he's just talking right now, man. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I give Haney credit on doing what he's doing right now. With this aspect here, I wouldn't rematch Roma. I got the win. It's done, over with.
Yeah,
I prefer him to fight Tank.
I'm looking at the comment section, man.
Tank.
They still on Errol, bro.
Yeah,
They still on Spence-Crawford, man. They're still on Spence-Crawford, guy. That's the hottest topic in the sport right now.
Yeah, they still. Yeah.
Well, Jay, man, what do you want to do? You want to go ahead and open up the phone lines?
Open the phone lines.
A lot of people start.
This is the hottest thing going on right now, so we might as well give it what they want.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give them what they want. So let me get the phone lines up. Give me just a second, kind folks.
Yeah, see everyone talking about the resumes.
Yeah, we can talk about that too.
And everything. People talking about how Spence, with the mouthpiece situation there.
The phone lines are open, good people. So, yeah, we ready to take your calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as far as the resumes are concerned, Spence, we've talked about the resumes before in the past, dog. The resumes. I think Bud's resume is not as great as people try to make it seem to be. We got somebody calling in. Oh, I think this is Tunnel Vision calling in to get his just desserts. This is the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg, and I feel that this is Tunnel Vision calling in and getting what he deserves, calling in and coming to the carpet to tell everybody how damn wrong he was. Is this Tunnel Vision?
Yes, it is. I'm here to get my to take my crow. To say I was wrong. I know Greg was happy. I know he was like that scene from that movie. He was in there, what's called punching the air, screaming out that he was right, probably shadow boxing and doing all kinds of crazy things because he was right on this one after so damn long.
Hey, listen. I had confidence because I was reading the tea leaves. Everything suggested that the fight was going to happen. Plus, we were hearing, that the fight was coming. So I was pretty confident that it was going to happen. And then when all the June 17th stuff just kind of fell out, I was like, I'm not going to put my neck out on the line anymore. I'm not going to say it. No matter what I hear, I'm not going to say anything. But I still had some confidence that it was going to happen.
Now, yeah, I had confidence in everybody that was associated with that whole situation except Terence Crawford. I'm sorry. He's not someone that especially after what happened with even before that, but especially after the whole BLK Prime and Avanesian thing happened. After that, I was I have no faith in that boy whatsoever. So I didn't care about what reports came out. I don't care. And we know that Chicken Talk, he definitely has sources. I was I believe in Chicken Talk. I believe in his sources, but I don't believe in Bud Crawford, and that was the whole thing, is not believing in him. So, right. But, regardless though, I am glad that has been made. So it's after this fight is done, it can be over with. Like, as far as, everybody, this guy's going to do this. Oh, this guy would do that. It's over with after this. We actually can, even when people are talking, at least we know that we're talking, understanding that there's going to be an actual resolution. We're not just talking just for the sake of talking. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I'll definitely say about it. But, I'll say, I'm 100% going to take my crow and say, you know what, I was wrong in that. And even the times when, you guys were wrong time and time again, you still came up and were like, you know what, we were wrong in this one. We're wrong in that one. So I commend y'all, you know what I mean? A clock is right twice a day, you know what I'm saying? So, it had to happen hopefully eventually, But I'll give y'all respect for that. But with everybody else, though, I wanted to kind of just point on this, because I'm seeing some people saying that, we told y'all this fight was going to happen, on this year or whatever, when it's like that wasn't necessarily the case. There were people who were saying that this fight was going to happen in September last year. They were saying it was going to happen in November. There were people who were saying that, Errol Spence was fighting other people at the end of last year. There were people who were saying that it was going to, they were saying that PBC, it wasn't going to happen because PBC wasn't going to be around next year. There were people who were saying that Showtime wasn't going to be around next year. According to certain people, Showtime and PBC were supposed to be done at the end of last year. Facts. There are people who were saying, even when the fight started coming out and they started putting out, talking about fights that were going to happen this year, at the end of last year, people were talking about what network is it going to be on, because they're not going to have a network, to put the fight on, and we're talking about PBC being broke, and going out of business. So if you're going that hardcore, it's like, you need to really shut up about, supposedly you being right now and things of that nature, because you weren't, and it's like, exactly. I don't care about people being wrong. I don't care about that. Like, everybody can be wrong, but you got to be a man enough to stand up and be like, you know what? I was wrong on that one. I was wrong. You got to be man enough to say you were wrong. You can't just keep trying to push a narrative that you were right about something when like you clearly weren't. Like just certain people just need to man up. Especially because there've been a lot of people who are talking a lot of shit about PBC. Like a lot of people, like day after day after day after day after day after day after day. And I've still yet to see these same people come around and say we were wrong when it comes to PBC. From people who've been around for a long time to people who just came up, brand new people who came up all of a sudden trashing PBC. Have been around for a couple of months, but all they've been doing is trashing PBC and talking about how they were going to be done by February this year. But then the one fight I see that same people go to is a PBC fight. And now they're talking, all the fights, the major fights they're talking about is PBC fights, but still not giving them credit for those fights. So if people need to start stepping up if you're wrong, man, and just admit that you were wrong. And clearly that whole PBC is broke thing is out of here. And remember, I told y'all, even when they were talking about it, and I was told you that's all BS. And somebody came on your show, said this was going to be a prove it year. I said that's bullshit. They've they already have the numbers, and they wanted them. They wanted to do more shows. And I was going to come out in June. My whole thing was like, in June, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to stand up and say, what's up with the whole PBC being broke thing? But they've done so much that we can just go start it in May and say it was all bullshit. And pretty much with the year that's coming down, Al Heyman and PBC are pretty much in position where this might be the biggest year in the history of boxing, due to this network and this promotional company that everybody said is broke and supposedly was trash, doesn't set up fights, and doesn't work with other promoters and other companies. That company. And people now seem now to give them their respect and stop just being quiet about the things that you've been saying for the last year.
Yeah, we actually did a video on this, Tunnel. We did that video, Jay, probably like 3 or 4 days ago. We just haven't released it on this very topic that you're talking about right now. Literally, I can give you the title of it. I'll probably drop it later on today or early tomorrow morning. But yeah, all this stuff about the PBC and their financial solvency is bullshit. It's been bullshit.
Facts.
Yeah, think about it. Ryan Garcia versus Ryan. People, I don't know if people realize it. Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. That was the 6th highest grossing fight in the history of boxing. I don't think most people actually understand and realize that. And if this Terence Crawford and Errol Spence thing do what people think they're capable of doing, they have the potential and the possibility of having 2 of the 10 highest grossing fights in the history of boxing within less than a 6-month period. And I don't think that has ever been done, but they actually do have the potential of doing that. And don't let them set up Canelo versus Benavidez on top of that. Because if they do that, it's game over. It's already game over, but it'll really be ugly if they're able to do that.
If they're able to do that this year, this would by far be. It might already be by far the biggest year in the sport of boxing ever.
Yeah.
But it will definitely be that after that fight if they were to pull that off, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing, and I'll get out of here. Stop when it comes to Jason. Stop coddling that man. You need to stop coddling man. We are not giving credit for call-outs, okay? Especially when you're in a position where you literally there's a whole bunch of people that you can fight that are top-tier fighters. We are no longer giving that man credit for call-outs. Get the fights done, and then we'll give you the credit for that. If he tries to fight Regis Prograis, I don't care if it's a Regis Prograis. I don't care if it's a Josh Taylor versus Lopez winner. I don't care because I still consider Josh Taylor the best 140-pounder in the world. I don't care if it's Lomachenko. I don't care if it's Tank. I don't care if it's Shakur Stevenson. Sure. But these are 5 people that you 100% you can get fights with these people. So we're not giving no damn credit for call-outs. We're giving credit for getting things done. We're not giving credit for Tyson Fury and Usyk for calling each other out. We're not giving credit for Bivol and Wabedabiev talking about they're going to fight. Now, we're not doing that. This year, we're giving credit for getting things done, period. So go get it done.
I feel you on that, man. Anything else you want to share with the people?
Nah, that's it. Jason, stop coddling that man. That's a grown-ass man. I'm out.
All right, man. Later. That's my guy, Tunnel Vision. Real quick, man, we got 164 people in the building. We have 68 likes. If you get the opportunity, please hit the like button. Or if you don't like the content, hit the dislike button, but make sure that you're engaging. And also, if you're new to the channel, this is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media. We're always dropping boxing content, so make sure that you come and be a part of the family. Also, there's a couple of channels that I want to call out right now. We got T Ward in the building, the Mic Check Podcast. That's my brother right there. That's like a sister channel of us. Please go check him out. Also, we got Chicken Talk in the building. That's our guy. He's probably got some of the best sources that I know of in the sport of boxing, man. He's always dropping a great show every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. He does that with Jake Donovan of BoxingScene.com. Amazing show. Make sure you go check that out. All right, Jay, phone lines are open, so anybody that's ready to call in, I know we missed some calls, so yeah, man, give us a buzz. 651-917, we missed both of your calls. But
for Haney, regarding Haney, what Tony was talking about, regarding Haney, he has a fight one of the people he mentioned. For me, he has a fight one of the ones he mentioned.
Yeah. I think this is a new area code for me, Jay. We got a 206 in the building. You're on the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. What's your name?
What's good with you, man? This is Band Up.
Oh, Band Up. Yeah, I know exactly who this is. What's going on with you, bro?
What's happening with you, man? How you guys doing today? How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. How are you? I know you about to come in here and spill some of this Terence Crawford nonsense, but go ahead.
No, it ain't nonsense. You know what I mean? I got a question for you, Greg. You said he was getting dominated in that Orthodox. So I went back and did the homework. Terence Crawford didn't switch the Orthodox until the second round, 31 seconds left. That's when he switched to South, from Orthodox to South, right? Okay, finish that round out, right? Whatever, finish that round down to South. Through the third round, This is why I say his IQ is smart. Through the third round, he know Kell Brook only got that one stance. So he gonna feel him out and see if Kell Brook keep doing these same things. Kell Brook think he can land that left. That's what he kept believing in his mind. Through 3 rounds, they both threw. Kell Brook landed 25 out of 99. Terence Crawford landed Kell Brook landed 24 out of 99. Terence Crawford landed 25 out of 93. 4th round, straight southpaw, knockout. He figured him out, kept that range, and hit him when he thought he can get that left. Oh, you think you're going to get him? Nah. Walk straight into this.
Okay.
So he wasn't getting dominated. He felt him out. And, yeah, I'll take a few hits. I can take a few hits if I know I'm going to get you right here. He ended that fight early. That wasn't him just getting dominated. And I went back when you fought, what's it called? When he said he got rocked by Gamboa, he also finished him in the orthodox stance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's not about when you're getting hurt and you run into southpaw. Nah, he figures them out and he finds that range and he connects with him. That's why I think in this fight with Errol better not just try to come in there and think he's gonna wear him down. Because what if he doesn't? What if Terence Crawford doesn't land? What if Errol Spence doesn't land the hits that you guys think he's going to land early in the rounds to wear Terence Crawford down? What if because you guys saying if you wear him down, then there's going to be a problem for him at the end. What if those shots ain't there and Terence is still fresh? Then what? Earl's in a world of trouble, right? Because he ain't wore down. You still got Bud up. So this is what I'm saying. If Bud everybody's thinking this dude going to wear me down. I hear the critics. They think he's going to wear me down. It's either I'm going to go through it or I'm going to get away from it to the point where I'm still fresh in these later rounds, and then I'm a headhunt because everybody knows later in the rounds, you guys say I start out slow, so you guys know what I'm going to do later in these rounds. You guys know I'm going to pick it up later in these rounds, and I'm going to find his chin. That's why Bud is so confident. That's why Bud is so calm right now. That's why Bud's not really worried about, he's what he's saying, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. If I lose in the early rounds, don't worry about that because I know I'm going to find his chin. He truly believes he can find Errol's chin. So I don't see Bud trying to prove everybody wrong. Can I outbang or whatever? Can I outbox this dude? No, I'm going to just go in there and do what I do. And then he's going to tell everybody at the end of the fight, this is what I do.
So let me address what you said at the beginning, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So I think you may be mixing up my argument because I don't recall saying he was getting dominated, but he was losing the fight. And it was clear he was losing the fight. He was lumped up. So that's my thing. And when Bud is not, in my opinion, Bud Crawford is not a switch hitter. He is a southpaw. That's all he is. He's a guy that sometimes fights out of an orthodox stance, but in reality, he's a southpaw. And when he starts losing the fight, his best position or his best stance is a southpaw stance. That's the reason why most coaches in the past, they would tell you that you need to fight out of one stance because one of them is going to be better than the other one. And it's better to just fight out of your stance that you're really good at versus fighting out of an inferior stance and end up getting clipped by some shit. So that's my comment on that. You said, what if Errol Spence doesn't actually land the shots at the beginning of the fight? The question could then be also, well, what if Terence Crawford doesn't have any opportunities to actually counter Errol Spence? So then if Errol's not hitting him to the body and Terence Crawford is not getting the opportunity to actually counter him, then in my opinion, more than likely what's dominating the fight is Errol's jab. And then the pressure that's being applied. Because you don't just wilt from just the body shots, you also wilt from having the pressure constantly applied to you. So those are my thoughts on that right there. And then I guess the third question would be, what if Errol is landing the shots? You think Terence Crawford is going to be able to stand up to him?
If Errol is landing those shots, I feel like Terence is gonna go to his corner, kind of like the Sean Porter thing. If his corner is telling him he's losing that fight, I think Terence is going to try to step it up right then and there. I think Terence is going to try to make an adjustment on the fly to try to get this fight out early. He's not going to try to let it go to the judges' cards because I feel that's honestly, to be real to you, I noticed a 50-50 fight, and I don't want it to go to the cards. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to go to the cards because I know how good Errol is technical. You know what I mean? He's a sound boxer. I know why this is a 50-50 fight. You know what I mean? So me as a Bud fan, I don't want it to go to the cards. I feel Bud needs to knock him out, in my opinion.
Oh,
I feel he needs to. You know what I mean? He needs to touch that chin. I don't want it to go to the cards. I'll tell you that straight up.
You're a more rational Terence Crawford fan than most. Like Easy Bands. Easy Bands isn't a rational Terence Crawford fan at all. Easy Bands official. Yeah, I said it. Go ahead, man. My bad, but what were you saying?
Yeah, but I just feel like that's what he needs to do. I don't feel like, I mean, if Terence comes out there and proves everybody try to go, you know what I mean, try to go the route, proving people wrong that he could bang with him, he's gonna have to. It's gonna be kind of like when Tank Davis outboxed. Who was it? Who did they try to say he couldn't knock out? Was it Cruz, Pitbull Cruz, whatever that he fought, and they tried to say he couldn't knock him out, or one of them guys. And he wasn't about knocking him out. It was about, you know what I mean, showing the world that Tank can actually box, you know what I mean, and doing things other than knock him out, you know what I mean? And I feel like Bud shouldn't take that, you know what I mean? Bud shouldn't really want to take that route, but if he can, it's going to be more of a war.
Yeah. No, man, I mean, that's an interesting position. We'll see what, I mean, that's, again, Bando, that's what makes like this fight so interesting, right? Because there's a number of different scenarios that we can all see kind of play out, right? And it really depends on like, you know, who's susceptible to who's, you know, offense or defense or whatever. I don't know who really is just yet, but my guess is within the first 3 or 4 rounds, we're going to realize. I think I know how it's going to play out, but we'll see. I'll mention how I think it's going to play out maybe later on. But anything else you want to share with the people, bro, before we move to the next call?
No, I just wanted to just give my opinions on that. You know what I mean? When it comes to that, you know what I mean? I believe you guys give great content. I always tap in with you guys. You know what I mean? And I always learn. You know what I mean? Left or right. You know what I mean? I told you I'm still new to this, and I'm learning. You know what I mean? Keep doing you guys' thing. And do you guys think that Wilder and Usyk gonna happen?
No.
No, not really. No.
You think Usyk gonna give him a run around still?
I don't think that fight happening.
Yeah, I don't think that
fight.
But
we'll see.
I hope.
I hope it happens too.
Appreciate you calling in, bro.
Yep. Salute y'all.
All right. Salute. Later.
Easy. Hey, easy, man. Ain't no excuses here. If Spence lose, he lose. If Bud lose, he lose.
But I can tell you one thing: if Errol Spence were to lose, this show will be canceled for the next day, and the next following week, I will not admit that this fight even ever existed. All right, you are on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. Who do we got in the building?
Hey, yo, what's up? It's Brother Eli in the building.
Brother Eli, what's going on with you, bro?
Eli?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just chilling. I was gonna say I think Errol Spence gonna win that fight. I got it split decision. Look, I was talking to my boy. One of them might get dropped though. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not definitely.
But I definitely think one of them will get dropped. But Terence Crawford chin is. I ain't gonna lie. I seen people in the chat talking. Terence Crawford be getting caught, and if y'all, I give the green machine, whatever his name is, that was a drop to me, bro.
He dropped him. He dropped him. And I see Brendan McDonald in the chat section saying that whenever Crawford catches Spence, it's going to be over. How many times have we actually seen Spence caught clean where you can actually knock him out? Errol Spence defense is a lot better than what people give him credit for, specifically for someone who is so offensive minded. And I don't know why people cannot process that. But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. No, I agree with you because even in the Avanesian fight, Terence Crawford was getting caught, but I mean, it's David Avanesian. Yep. And to the people in the chat, look, neither one of these dudes is my favorite fighters, but I want to just say Terence Crawford fans be delusional sometimes with their talking points because I watched that podcast with Gilly and them the other day, and I was just like, come on, but bro, stop this cat, bro. Like you a good talent, you a great fighter, but you trying to diminish somebody else's resume to pump up your own dog. Like, come on, who you fought? First off, you took the belt from Jeff Horn, who shouldn't have got past Pac-Man. But that's a different conversation. I'm glad the fight is happening, but these Bud fans, they got to stop with this delusion. that's what I want to say, because it's crazy. Cause when one of my friends is a Bud fan, and I tell him about y'all podcast to talk in so y'all can give him the business on this boxing shit, but he won't do it. But yeah, I disagree with a lot of things that Bud say.
Same here, man. A lot of this stuff.
Bud disagrees with a lot of shit he says.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Right. And I also agree with you guys. This is I'm only 32. This is the best year in boxing. I think up to my memory of starting watching boxing. If we get Benavidez, Canelo, right on. I'm with that. I don't know how everybody else feels. Not to take the conversation too far away, but I want to see Wilder Joshua still.
Absolutely.
We've been clamoring for that one.
Absolutely. Still want to see that fight, man. I think that fight will still be like big. That fight will still do numbers.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think Spence win. Crawford, hellified fighter. But I mean, let's be honest. Your path to the undisputed 140, you fought certain people, and I ain't saying anything like Spence got his flaws too. But it's just when you talk to Crawford fans, they make you want to root for Spence because it's like, oh, well, Crawford gonna do this, Crawford gonna do that, bro. He knocked out Amir Khan. Like let's be real. Like,
yeah.
But that's all I want. I don't want to hold up the lines. But I appreciate y'all for taking the call. I'm gonna go back to the chat.
All right, man. Appreciate you for calling in, brother Eli. Thank you.
Yep. Y'all know I'll be supporting the channel all the time.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Later.
Yeah, this
all right, man. That was
definitely
brother
the
Eli.
best year in boxing for us. I mean, hands down to me with the amount of fights we've already had just the first half.
So let me give Tunnel Vision some love. He gave us another $5. Appreciate you, Tunnel Vision. Crawford will not be able to use those gloves he has been using. Don't assume his power will be the same. Tunnel, I want you to elaborate on that a little bit, bro. We got the 513 in the building. I believe I know who this is, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
What up, though? It's Lefty, Chickasaw.
Yeah, there we go. What's up, Lefty?
What's good, y'all? Everybody excited? Everybody happy?
Yeah, man. I think everybody's excited and happy just based off of all the activity that we've been seeing on the channel.
Is people going to the fight? I mean, what's the plan? Y'all got any plans? I know we probably throw a little event at the fight.
So that's what I was telling you about. Team Gill said he gonna actually fly us out to the fight so that we can see Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence. So I don't know if Team Gill really got it like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if you can't afford a ticket, it still got to be in Vegas. You can always watch it on closed circuit or something like that. Them tickets are only like $75 to get into the closed circuit. So you still want to be there for the event in Vegas. For the Vegas, at least, preferably Thursday, but at least Friday to get in there.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I definitely consider it. I got to figure out how I'll be able to make it happen, considering I got some vacation and I got to do with the family. But we'll see. I'm definitely going to try to do something.
All right, man. Y'all, everybody got to get out there. I want to see all the familiar faces and meet up with y'all and kick it face to face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Nah, man, it's gonna be one of the biggest. I think Errol had it right, Lefty, when he said that it's probably the biggest welterweight fight in the last 40 years, bro.
Oh yeah, it is.
Easy.
Since what, De La Hoya Trinidad? I think that was the last big one like that. De La Hoya in Trinidad, maybe.
Yeah, from a competition standpoint, I would say yeah. Of course, Manny and Floyd was bigger, but from a competition standpoint, we talking about because we the first probably since Mosley De La Hoya, because that was 99. I think Oscar versus Trinidad was what, 98?
Yeah, something like that. But just letting y'all know though, you know, we gonna have to get some interviews coming up. Let me know. Maybe I can help y'all with somebody if y'all want to grab somebody. I mean, I can't get no Crawford and Spence type shit, but you know, somebody involved in the event.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. Whoever we can get on the platform to interview, I'd be appreciative of it. We gotta,
yeah,
absolutely. Right. But yeah, we'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah, I just want to call in and check in. Y'all take it easy.
All right, appreciate it, Chicken.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Later. That's our guy, Lefty. Again, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. He has a Spaces on Twitter. He and Jake Donovan, one of the best boxing shows you guys will find, man. You should go check it out for sure. And he also broadcasted on his channel here, which is Chicken Talk. So make sure you guys go and check it out and subscribe. And also go check out T Ward and the Mic Check podcast. We missed some calls. I know there's a few other people that have tried to call in, but so Tono made an interesting point. He said something about the gloves and the gloves that ended up coming apart. I don't know if Terence Crawford has actually worn those gloves since he's been at welterweight or anything like that, but he has demonstrated a level of power at welterweight that I didn't expect. I don't know if that has anything to do with the gloves. Maybe he's wearing some type of puncher's gloves or something like that, and yeah, maybe Errol's going to have the pick of the gloves. I don't know, but we'll see. Best part is we get to see it twice. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see if it's worth being twice, unless he gets dominated. I'm telling y'all, we're going to still be here. We talk cracking jokes. We still going to be here because we're men of our words. So the show July 30th might be canceled, like Greg said, because he got the computer. I don't.
Well, no, I'm gonna send you your version, your computer this week, so you'll have it. You'll be able to go on live solo. I can't take the pressure. Oh man! All right, let's see what we got. We got the 917 in the building. You're on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. What's your name?
What's up? My name is Jeremy, man.
Hey, Jeremy, can you turn your volume down in the background? Because it kind of...
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I just want to get my intake and my input on the fight with Bud and Errol Spence, man. I'm rocking with Errol, man. I'm betting the house. I went to bet everything on this fight, man. I don't think Bud could see Errol in this fight, man. I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I agree. I got Errol winning.
One thing about Errol I could say, man, he don't fought better competition. He the reason why I even watch boxing. I'm talking about him and Javante. Those is box office. Like, we can't compare those fighters, man. In my opinion, you feel me? I feel like
I agree.
I seen Crawford a few fights, but I remember he fought Jeff Horn. Like, I mean, he was like an Uber driver. Like, I don't think he's seen Errol, man. People got their own opinion, but from my standpoint, bro, I see Errol just dominating and probably taking him out early.
The best two fighters that he's fought at welterweight is probably Porter and Mean Machine.
And then he was in a podcast of Gilly saying, you know what I'm saying, that he don't, Danny Garcia trying to downplay the welterweight. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
It's different levels, bro. You ain't seen none of those people yet, bro. Sean Porter, I feel like he gave him that fight, bro, because he know he was gonna retire. It was a different fight, bro. Trust me. And I feel like Sean, I think he be hating on Errol. Like I be seeing this shit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you the big fish, you know what I'm saying? People want your spot.
Yeah. Hasn't Sean's position on this fight changed? Because I think initially he thought that Terence Crawford was going to win. I thought maybe subsequent to that, though, he, said something to the effect
all
that,
over the place.
Because I know his dad has always had Errol winning.
Yeah. His dad. Bro, I just feel like when Sean Porter fought Errol Spence, he gave it all, his whole energy, and then when he fought Terence Crawford, he just gave up. Like, he didn't even try. So when Terence Crawford's like, yo, when I fought Sean Porter, y'all seen what I did to him, and y'all seen what Errol did to him. No, bro. At the end of the day, Sean Porter didn't put his full effort, bro. He was already leaving out the door.
Right.
If he really wanted to get rugged with you, like, it would have been a different fight, bro. You know? And Errol already showed that he could bang. He could box. He could do it all, bro. And I'm telling you right now, he's taking that.
Yeah, and Spence actually can fight moving forward and backwards, and I don't know why people don't understand that. He can fight moving forward. He can fight moving backwards.
That's what people saying, that the way he fights awkward, but I feel like he fights smart. He fights smart. He could bang. He said it too. I could bang. He done shown it all. So I mean, I'm gonna be waiting for that fight, man. Me and my wife, we already got with gears, and we ready, man.
Are you there? Look like the caller dropped somehow. But no, man, Errol can fight moving forward, moving backwards. And if Errol's so limited, it should be as easy for Terence Crawford to just press him. Why don't Terence Crawford become the guy that's actually pressing him? I mean, that would be my game plan. If Errol Spence can't fight moving backwards, then since everybody think Jason Williams and Brendan McDonald, they feel that, he's so strong, he should be able to push him back, man. That could be his offense. That'll be an easy fight for Terence Crawford. Make Errol go backwards. We got the 714 in the building, Jay. You're on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. What's your name?
Hey, what's going on, good brother? My name is Kurt, man. How y'all good brothers doing?
Doing well, man. How are you, sir?
Chilling, Kurt.
Oh, man, I can't call it, man. Just, excited for the fight, Now,
ooh, man, same over here.
I'm a Bud fan, bro. Brother Eli was talking about me, so I had to jump on and chime in. I'm new to y'all podcast.
Okay.
But
welcome to the channel.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Bud, man. I don't really go off the narrative of, comparing what he did with this fighter, what he did with that fighter. I don't go off that triangle theory. All that's BS to me, because all fights are different and every style makes for a different fight. Correct?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's things to me that I feel Spence does well, better than Bud, and then there's things that I feel that Bud does better than Spence, and that's what makes for a great night, a great night in boxing. I don't really go off the narrative. I feel like too many people jump on this. Bud was ducking. He didn't want the fight. If he didn't want the fight wouldn't be made now, right?
Exactly.
So that's something that people can, and also too, Errol Spence gave an interview stating that they wanted him to fight Keith Thurman, which, to be honest with you, I got to give Errol credit, because they were pressing a different agenda on Errol, and Errol stuck to his guns. You know what I'm saying? So I personally think both guys wanted to make the fight, and I think that they're gonna make the most money fighting each other. So, that's my stance. Not trying to take too much of y'all time. I agree Errol has fought the better competition at welterweight, but then again, you also got to look at the times though too, because he started at 54, but he's fought at welterweight his whole career. So he's going to probably fight the better opposition, because he's been in the weight class long. But does that mean that Errol's gonna win the fight?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean Errol's gonna win the fight. I mean, because this is a close fight. So the only thing really, in my opinion, what's going to determine this fight is going to be, number one, who really has more dog in them, and then number two, which man is able to implement their game plan. I feel like, and this is my opinion, people say
I hear you, brother. Go ahead.
that Terence Crawford has more tools and skills or a more polished offense than Errol Spence. I would agree with that. But I would also say that even though he has more tools and has a more polished offense than Errol Spence, he also has far more flaws than Errol too. His style is more dynamic, and it also has more holes in it, based off what I've seen. Errol is less dynamic, but more fundamentally sound. And I think the guy that's more fundamentally sound is going to win this fight.
I agree. 100%. I agree with that. That's just why, that's why we got to see it, man. That's why we got to see it, man. I appreciate you good brothers putting me on here, man, and tapping me in, man. Thanks for you guys' time, man. And I'm going to send you guys a follow and be tuned in with your channel.
All right, appreciate it, man. Welcome to the channel. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Later. All right, man. We missed some calls. Hey, but let me say this. We got 181 people in the building, 91 likes. If you get the opportunity, guys, please hit that like button. It helps other people find this content. And if you don't like what you're hearing, hit the dislike button. But make sure that you're always engaging with the content. And then also, if you're new to the channel, just like the good brother that was on the phone, this is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media. We are always dropping content on a daily basis, video clips. What else do we do, Jay? Fight breakdowns. We do documentaries. We do it all. So make sure you become a part of the family. You are on the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. Who do we have in the building?
What's up, fellas? This is Mike from Philly.
Mike, what's going on, bro?
Mike?
Hey. First, I'm very excited for this. I rocks with both of these guys. I'm more Team Crawford than Spence, but I'm happy to see a good fight. For me, this is like the biggest fight, competitive-wise, since Trinidad and De La Hoya. But check this out. I really want to talk about the bias towards Terence Crawford. Like, y'all guys cannot seem to give that man the respect that he deserves, and I don't really understand why.
Okay, what do you think that we're not respecting him?
Okay, for instance, if somebody in the chat will make any type of criticism, dig into why. Okay? Spence, from 2016 to about what? Now, the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF. Everyone that's fought, Thurman, Spence, Garcia, the other Garcia, Ugas, Pacquiao, all them PBC fighters. And they have all fought in some form for one of those three belts. The only PBC fighter that Terence Crawford has fought, if I'm not mistaken, before the Sean Porter fight was Jose Benavidez Jr. So, tell me this. Spence said, I'm going to clean up my side of the street in 2018, correct?
That was 2017, the first time he said it.
Okay, my mistake, 2017. Now, I believe I know what that means. What does that statement mean to y'all? I'm going to clean up my side of the street first.
In my opinion, that means that he's going to win all the belts that are on the PBC side of
exactly, which means that he had access to every champion that held that belt. Now, would either one of y'all say for 5 straight years that Terence Crawford had any access to any of those fighters?
No, wasn't he trying to sue Ball for not making the fight?
Excuse me?
Wasn't Bud trying to sue Ball for not making the fight with Spence?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is the whole clean up my side of the street.
So
I'm taking advantage.
The argument you're making is that Terence Crawford didn't have the opportunity to actually fight in these guys, and therefore his resume.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's in my opinion, the PBC, and it makes sense for the PBC because it's like, okay, you're not a PBC fighter. Why would we want one of these belts to leave? So guess what? Ugas was a WBA champ. We're not going to let you fight Ugas. We're not going to let you fight Thurman. And that's another thing. When Danny Garcia, back, if I'm not mistaken, in 2016, it's still at 140, when he was moving up, he said he wanted the top dog, which was Thurman. And Thurman's response to that was, I would gladly introduce Danny Garcia to 147 pounds. A year later, Bud Crawford said the same exact thing. He wanted Thurman. You know, his response was, he's a good young fighter and everything, but what has he done to deserve a fight with Keith Thurman, which is like, are you serious? Danny was unified, and I'm a Philly guy, so I support normally Danny Garcia. Danny was unified at 140. Bud was undisputed. You're quick to fight Danny, but you don't want no parts. Do either one of y'all feel as though Thurman ducked Terence Crawford in 2017 and 18?
I don't think he ducked him. I think they all did basically the same thing. But let me point something out to you because I hear what you're saying, right? But there's a couple of things. So number one, when Terence Crawford first came to 147 pounds, he did not actually seek out those fighters that were over there on the PBC, right? So part of the reason why he didn't have access to them is because he didn't actually seek them out, right? And he should have been putting pressure on his promoter to actually force those fights if he truly wanted it, right? That's number one. Number two, there is some validity in there in terms of maybe for like, let's call it 12 to 18 months in terms of your argument relative to he didn't have access to those fighters. But when he renewed his contract with Top Rank, at any time thereafter, it became his fault. Because he had the opportunity to either become a free agent or sign with the PBC where he knew all the fighters were, and he chose to go back to Bob Arum, which means that he was comfortable hiding behind Bob Arum in terms of those fights not being made. So that's the issue that I have. You got, like, at that point, you knew Bob was going to be an obstacle because you already knew you were on the other side of the street. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, I give you credit for, at first when he comes in, I give you credit for that. Even when he first came in, he was coming up from 140 pounds. He's getting his feet wet. He's not going to go after the big dogs. And then even after that, it's like, I'm on the other side of the street. These fights may not get made. I didn't have access to them. But after you re-sign with Bob Arum, that's all on you, brother. So you will take the blame for that part of it. Are you tracking with what I'm saying?
I agree with you partly. I agree that was, to me, his biggest mistake in 2018 was re-signing. I agree with you on that. But on the flip side, let's just look at it like this. If he doesn't have access from 2018 to 2021, if he doesn't have access to Spence, Thurman, Danny, Ugas, and Mikey Garcia, who is he supposed to fight? If you don't have access to, say, guys ranked from 1 through 5, who are you forced to fight guys 6 through 10? And if so, can you still be penalized? Because it's not like he didn't want to fight him.
Can I ask you a question?
Are you tracking me on that one?
Yeah, no, I'm tracking with what you're saying, but let me ask you a question in regards to that, right?
Okay.
So you've seen Terence Crawford's track history or his track record relative to negotiating fights, right?
Yes.
So Errol Spence, by far, is one of the biggest draw in the sports currently, and it took them a year to negotiate that fight. So in the event that Terence Crawford would have had access to Keith Thurman, you think they would have actually been able to negotiate that fight, considering Keith Thurman was a bigger draw at that time?
I do.
Really?
And yes,
I don't.
And I'm not saying it would have been easy because, let's be honest, Keith Thurman got an ego. Probably got the biggest ego at 147 pounds. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying it would have been easy, but I put it to you like this. I do believe that Terence Crawford wanted all of those PBC fighters. Like, for instance, Top Rank sent Danny Garcia, allegedly, a $3 million offer, I want to say, in 2019. And they didn't get any response at all. Because Danny did not want no parts of Terence Crawford. Okay? Freddie Roach went on record as saying he did not want Manny fighting Crawford after they left Top Rank for the PBC because he felt as though he was a younger version of Manny. And we do know that Bob Arum finally came out and say that he sabotaged that fight. Okay? Mikey Garcia was like, yeah, I'll fight Terence Crawford. That was kind of it. Sean Porter, in my opinion, and Errol Spence were the only two that really wanted to fight him. And I always give props to Sean Porter for that. And I get what Spence had an advantage, and he used it. Now, and another criticism is Sean Porter was 1 foot out the door. When do we find that out? Before or after the fight?
He just said he had bad hips also before the fight.
Okay, so why are you taking the fight then? Because to me, it sounds like a built-in excuse.
Money.
Like, if I win, I overcame X, Y, and Z. But if I lose, I could fall back on this excuse, and I don't think that's fair.
I mean, that's not Bud's fault for fighting a man that was had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's just pointed out. He had 1 foot. Oh. Mel, I got a question for you because you were talking about access, right, to fighters, right?
Yeah.
So let's move forward to last year. Bud had access to fight Boots. He fought David Avenesian. Explain that one.
Again, I'm a Philly guy. Honestly, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion.
I want to know your opinion.
That risk was way too high. That if the chance that I lose, I'm just being honest with you. If the chance that I lose, I can forget about Undisputed at 147. That's my honest answer. But you know what, Jay? At the same exact time, at the same exact point, if Spence had the same opportunity, I think he would have done the same exact thing because that would have ruined it. So, David Avenesian, it wasn't a good look. Okay, but here's my question. Good. Other than that, Rocha would have been the only other fight that would have made sense because Greg's guy ducked Terence Crawford twice and Virgil Ortiz. So, I give you that. I'm just saying, let's show the brother a little bit more respect on the resume tip because to me, he's being punished because he didn't fight certain guys, but then certain guys didn't want to fight him or their advisor didn't want them to fight. So it's kind of like, damn, Greg, I want to fight you, but your older brother won't let you fight me. But then Jason criticized me for not fighting you. But it's like, well, damn, Jay, I'm not fighting Greg because his brother won't let me fight him. So, and I think it was quite a bit of that.
I can agree with that. I would make it 70-30. It's 70% Terence Crawford fault. The other 30% is people not wanting to fight him. I can't do no better than that, my brother.
You know what? That's fine. I just wanted to chime in real quick and as a I've been watching boxing. I'll probably say since about 86 and really understanding it probably in the early 90s. And this is by far the best year that I can remember because we got the fights that we've had. And then let's not forget, Philly's own cool boy Steph is going to Japan to fight the monster too.
Yeah,
so,
man.
You know, good show. I appreciate y'all for taking my call. Y'all brothers stay up.
All right, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, man. Let me just acknowledge somebody real quick before y'all call in. Terrence J. Miller, $9.99. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Terrence's biggest mistake could be dragging negotiations out over a year for money or over money, then sign a multi-fight deal with the PBC and agree to the money that was originally offered to him. He didn't want this. Yeah, I agree with that.
Who we got?
I believe this is my bro, but give me 1 second, my bro. I want to say one thing. Easy Band official, this guy is not a Bud supporter. Why? Because he just doesn't blindly say that Bud is correct in every single situation. That's why Easy doesn't believe this guy is truly a Bud Crawford fan. Yeah, we got the 954 in the building. And I believe this is the League of Legacies, but I want to confirm. Is this the League of Legacies?
There's a Mister that's supposed to go in front of it. Like Mr. the League of
What's going on with you, bro?
Oh man, I'm good. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
Doing well, man.
I just had to address just a couple things. No, say that the caller. This is something I see all the time. It's not only you. It's just when people come in and say, "Well, what if it's this?" and then they move with that, like that's the narrative of what really happened. Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with Bud not having access. Bud just didn't want those fights. Or if you want to say Bud wanted the fights, you could say Top Rank just didn't do the things that they were supposed to do to make those fights.
Yeah, like
that's what we know.
to me, the way that I looked at it is when you came up to 147 pounds, you clearly did not want smoke with those guys at that time, right? So after that point, we can say, okay, maybe you didn't have access. But at the point in which you re-signed with Bob Arum, which was, when was that, Jay? 2018, I think, which was maybe like less than a year after 18, 19 when he resigned, whatever. So let's call it 12 to 18 months after you got to welterweight. Anytime after that, you know that these guys are on the other side of the street. You know that you didn't have access to them. So there's no way, even giving them the benefit of the doubt, Lee, after that point, that's all on him. So to me, that's why I say it's a false narrative.
Well, you can even look at it and say that just shows that that was never the case in the first place. Because let's say that's not just something that people are saying what if, but it's true that there was no access. Like you just said, if he re-signed, you can't complain about no access because that was the reason before.
Exactly.
So, I mean, either way, it's like it was either no access or you just never wanted the access. But if he's taking the fight now, you got to say that that wasn't the case.
Well, if he's taking the fight now, that's because they've given him enough money that he's willing to take the risk.
Man, Bud is on a whole nother level, man. But I owe Bud an apology because there were several times I called in here, I called in on the show, and I said, Bud doesn't want to fight. And I realized I was missing one little key thing. And that's that little delusional part that goes on. You know, Bud keeps saying he's been wanting this fight since, 2018? I think in Greg's video, y'all need to go peep the Terence Crawford video. But I think Greg even addressed it then about how it wasn't even 2018. But just to throw the number out there, it's not that he been wanting that fight since then. He been wanting that fight on his terms since then. And that's why I think everyone keeps missing it. So I think Bud, like you just said, Bud wanted the fight. They gave him what he wanted. We're going to see when we see all the stuff that happened, because Errol laid it out in the tweet when he said, if I'm lying, show him the contract. So if we see the stuff in that tweet, we know off the rip. Everything that said in that tweet was true and all of that other stuff. But honestly, I'm afraid for your boy, though, because I think Errol's trying to hurt something. I don't even think he's going for the knockout. I think he wants Bud to take the knee and quit. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think
you want to propose to him.
Yeah, he's going in there for damage, bro, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but that's all. That's all. I hope y'all enjoying y'all Memorial Day. I hope you're enjoying your girls and everything else. But yeah, that's it.
All right, appreciate you calling in, League.
Okay, League.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, later. All right. That was the League of Legacy Black Father Figures. You can see that right below Jason and I video. He's doing a lot of great work, man, for Black fathers, man, really supporting all of us. So appreciate the League of Legacy and all the work that he does. Yeah, man. The lines are back open. This Terence Crawford and Errol Spence thing, man. It's the hottest thing in boxing right now. And of course, we got some other folks calling in. Oh, I think I know who this is. We got the 229 in the building. I think I know who it is, but introduce yourself.
What's going on with you, man? This Randy, man. Long time no hear.
No,
I'm still kicking. I ain't kicking high, but I'm kicking, baby.
I knew this was you, man. What's going on?
Hey, ain't that going on? I was sitting back listening to your chat, man, and not the guy that just called, but the guy that just called before him. So he a Crawford fan, and didn't nobody want to fight Crawford and all this whining and crying that he got going on. But he got it backwards because Keith Thurman reached out to Crawford for the $10 million. But they say he priced himself out. They ain't said no kind of rebuttal or nothing. They just say he priced himself out. Usually in negotiation, you always go in high, and we find a middle ground. They ain't even entertain Keith.
Yeah.
So why was that?
I do recall that.
You remember Bowman talking about he pricing himself out $10 million. He ain't getting $10 million. And then Keith Thurman came back and said, well, I thought we was in negotiation. If I say 10, you're supposed to come back with something. Yeah. But then he gave Kell Brook, he gave Kell Brook $7 million, and he didn't even have a name.
For it. I don't know how much Kell got for that fight, but that sounds familiar.
I think Kell Brook got $7 million. That was that Amir Khan. One of them got $7 million. Kell Brook is Amir Khan.
I thought Amir got 5.
What? 5?
I thought.
Okay. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight Porter at the time because you remember Porter called him out, and then he act like he was stutter stepping with Porter, and Porter said, "Well, I jumped the gun because me and Crawford friends, and I should have checked with him because we said if we ever decided to fight, we was gonna talk among each other first." So he kind of Porter kind of backed off him, and then they pretty much forced him to fight Porter. The third thing I want to say is, why didn't he go after Ugas before Errol went after Ugas? Ugas didn't have nobody because as soon as Ugas won the belt, Errol reached out to him and said, "Now you got something I want." And that's how him and Crawford didn't throw his name in the ring at all. Seemed like he would have been trying to, grab that other belt, but he laid back silent. So I don't know why they get this. Don't nobody want to fight him.
Yeah, I get what he was trying to present, and the only argument in my mind that can be made for that is all the way up until the point in which he re-signed with Top Rank. At the point in which he re-signed with Top Rank, that was it's on him now.
I agree with that 100%, man. That's a dead fish if you put it that way. Because what defense do you have for him? Exactly. You know what I mean? This train ain't going where you think it's going, so why you getting on it?
My thing is, I just felt like at that point he was just comfortable with the fact that, hey, I'm getting these guaranteed purses over here. If I go over to the PBC, it's going to be a situation where I actually have to promote the fight and put asses in seats and stuff like that. And I don't think that's what he, really wanted. And nor did, if he really, really wanted those fights, would he have stayed with Top Rank? So, it is what it is, man. Yeah, he re-signed with Top Rank in September of 2018. So any point after that point, that was a conscious decision by Terence Crawford. Even people brought it up to Terence Crawford that, why are you re-signing with Top Rank? There is no other side of the street. These fights should be able to be made, so forth and so on. Well, and then he started to point out fights that were made between PBC and Top Rank, but those were big selling fights. Those were fights that were going to easily make a profit for either one of those two entities if they were to come together and promote those fights together. A Terence Crawford fight wasn't going to make any dollars or any significant dollars, so Bob Arum is going to want those fights to be in-house fights. Similarly, the PBC is going to want those fights to be in-house fights. So, if you truly wanted access to those fighters, then you would have said, well, I'm not re-signing with Bob Arum. I'm going to sign with the PBC because that's where the fighters are that I truly want to fight and become undisputed. But I think Terence Crawford, honestly, and I always poke at Terence Crawford in terms of his level of intelligence, but I do believe that there's certain areas of intelligence that he does demonstrate. And I think he understood that Errol Spence more than likely would beat everybody on that side. And instead of him having to go over there and fight all those fighters to become undisputed, he'll be able to get to it in one shot by just fighting Errol. So that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about it.
And I agree to it too, because he don't want to work, but he want to get paid. And I think that's part of too. What I think about Terence is he feel like he's beating the system by saying, all this time we've been working in the box and the promoters and everybody getting the money. So now I'm gonna go into the game and switch it up. I'm gonna do less work and get paid for something I ain't even working for. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get paid, but I ain't going to do no work. I'm going to do very little work, but I'm going to get paid the maximum dollar I could get for doing very little to no work.
Right.
And that's why I think the whole negotiation was held up, because somebody was in his ear saying, they making this amount of money on the fight and y'all only getting this, But I think this is a big fight. Now, don't get me wrong at all. But I think it's only a big fight to the hardcore boxing fans. I don't think it's a Mayweather Pacquiao type of fight, because everybody knew who Mayweather was. Mayweather can go nowhere without somebody knowing who he is. Right. Pacquiao could go nowhere without somebody knowing who he is. I mean, yeah, people know Errol and people know Crawford, but it's more people know Errol than Crawford. But I don't think they're on that type of level where this is just the biggest fight ever. Like it ain't gonna generate the money that Bud thought it was gonna generate, and it's not gonna draw the people that a lot of the guys think it's gonna draw, because they just not that type of star. They're not a Canelo Alvarez. Everybody know Canelo. He can't go nowhere. Right. Prime example for Bud. Remember, he was trying to get by, and the guy was basically, y'all made a video out. The guy was basically like, "Who are you?" You know what I mean? Like, okay, I understand that, but if that had been Canelo, the guy probably would have been trying to get an autograph. It had been Mayweather or Pacquiao. You see what I'm saying? Those are special type of fighters that only come around every so often. And unfortunately, we know Crawford is not that guy, because he can't sell out the family picnic. We know Earl can do at least 350. So I'm really looking for this to do 500 at most. 500.
I think it's gonna get above 500.
You think it's above 5? But it might go slightly above 5, because I'm looking at Earl bringing his 350, and maybe Crawford bringing his 150. So I mean, what you think?
I think this is the case of the sum of the parts equal actually more. Because I think, because here's the thing, I think PBC is smart. So they're going to, I think they've already bounced this and ran this through some type of analytical tool, and based off of the information that they probably got out of that Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight, they predicted that they'll sell enough pay-per-view buys that they can afford to pay Errol Spence and Terence Crawford $10 million upfront guaranteed. So that would suggest to me that they think that this fight is going to be relatively big, because recall and remember that, Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, I think they got $2 million apiece. These two guys are going to get 20. And when you think about the back, the cable providers, the distributors, they're going to take like half of that money off top. So like if you do 500,000 buys times $99, that's $49. They're going to take half of that right off the top. That only leaves you about $24 million. You still got the promotion that you have to pay for. So all the promotional material and all the promoting that you did across all these different networks and so forth and so on, social media, all that, you still got to pay for all that as well. And the press tours and all that. You already at $25 million, and then you got to pay these guys another $20 million. So my high level math would suggest that it's going to be substantially higher than 500,000 pay-per-view buys, based off the fact that they were willing to give them $20 million upfront guaranteed. That makes sense?
Yeah, I didn't look at it from that aspect. You know what I mean? I'm one of them people that just because I see it one way don't mean it's that way. I look at it and compare with other people saying that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because some people talking out the side of their neck, but that do make a whole lot of sense, because you in any business, you ain't going in it to fail. So if you're gonna give up that kind of money off the top, you can already see you can already see that back, and you ain't in business to break even. So I can rock with that one. I can rock with that one. So I see a little bit different. I sure appreciate you shining that light on me.
I see Tunnel Vision saying that they don't take half per Espinoza. The fighter side gets 90%. I seriously doubt the fighters get 90% of the total revenue. There's no way that's possible with them making a profit. There's no way that's possible. But go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm gonna let somebody else get in. Hey, I've been hitting you up, man. I had a couple of questions for you. I still got those questions. I got some things sitting down on the back burner. Don't know what to do with it. I know you've been busy.
No. I don't have that. So my line is still up, but I lost that phone when I was over in Europe, so I haven't answered anybody's.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Email me, and I'll shoot my other number.
Okay, I definitely do it. Man. Y'all right. Keep giving that good content, man. You messed me up with that last video. I thought you was gonna do it like y'all did that documentary, and I got my popcorn and everything ready, man, to sit down and look for another documentary. It was a good video. Now don't get me wrong. Right. I was like, come on, man. I know you didn't short us like that. I was looking for the good stuff.
All good, man.
Hey, man, y'all keep doing what you do, man, and I'll reach out to you later on.
All right, man. Sounds good. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you, Randy.
All right, later, man. All right, later, Jason. Yeah.
That was the guy, Randy. Go ahead.
So Easy Band said that a lot of people were saying that Bud was scared to fight Porter back in the day. Do you remember a lot of that chatter? I don't remember none of that.
Bud was afraid to fight Porter.
Porter, yeah.
He initially didn't try to take the fight when it was first presented to him. But hold on real quick. Hey, you on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. Give me just one quick second. Hey, guys, we got 180 people in the building, 117 likes. If you get the opportunity, please hit that like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure you engage. And also, if you're new to the channel, this is the Angry Man podcast, AM Sports Media. We are always dropping content, whether it's video clips, documentaries, fight breakdowns, you name it, we do it. So make sure that you become a part of the family. All right, who do we have on the line?
Oh, this Terence here. You know me.
Oh, Terence.
Just to clean up some stuff like that. Last call, I had to call because, I mean, this guy just went off the rails. Of course, y'all didn't say anything, so I gotta just come in and clean that up a little. Clean it up a little bit.
That'd be fair.
Clean it up a little bit. So first of all, this guy, what did he say? Bud didn't fight. Ugas? Oh my God! Why do we? First of all, let's go back to Ugas. If we recall, didn't Errol Spence and the PBC pay step up side money to Staniosis so he can fight Ugas? How in the hell was Bud supposed to fight this guy? You think that the PBC was going to let Ugas fight Bud Crawford for that title? I mean, come on, this guy must be living in some sort of fantasy world where Bud would have been a plus 700 on that to win that title. Plus 700, bro. Plus 700. Wade would have been a big time favorite against Ugas. He was 450 against Porter. Yes, he didn't want to fight Porter. They keep saying, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to fight Porter. He knew that was easy work. And then Danny was plus 325. Spence was on Danny. And by the way, he sent Danny a contract. Danny father picked up, said he'd get back to Bud and never got back to him. And then Thurman, he says, Thurman asked for $10 million. He knows damn well he wasn't getting no $10 million. He was not interested in any negotiation asking. He shouldn't even ask. When had Thurman made $10 million? When had Thurman? How in the hell would he ask for $10 million? He just by asking for $10 million, that told Bob Aaron he ain't want to fight. $10 million. Are you kidding me?
He made it against Manny
yeah.
Terence, I got a question for you. You talking about contracts and everything, right?
Right.
You talk about contracts and everything. You say Thurman was trying to pretty much put him price himself out. Danny
exactly.
Does that sound
Danny never got back to him? Yeah.
That sounds similar to what happened last year.
What? I keep telling you why won't Greg, why don't you believe me? Who announced this fight? Greg, who announced the fight? When Fight Hype announced the fight, I said it's over. It's a wrap. Once they announced, and why did I say that? What did Floyd Mayweather say? He said when this fight is announced by Fight Hype, then you know it's official.
Man, stop it.
So
Errol Spence the one that announced this fight.
He did just say that. That's what Floyd said. Stop it. That's not true. Go to that Floyd interview. Go to the Floyd interview and listen. That's what he said. And so when I know that's what he said,
but that doesn't matter.
Why don't it matter, Greg?
Because he wasn't the one that Fight Hype didn't announce the fight. Errol Spence announced the fight. All Fight Hype said is that they said that the fight is going to happen. The first time we actually heard that the fight was actually going to happen from someone that was actually in the, I guess in media was from Cappinger. So what are you talking about? Fight Hype?
Okay, Greg, I'm asking you when had previous to this, when had Fight Hype announced the fight? Never. Through all of this nonsense that was going around, everybody was announcing fights and changing dates. When had Fight Hype did it? Because we know that Floyd's running Fight Hype, right? That's his channel.
What?
No, bro. Hold up. Fight Hype was on the June 17th date after us too, because Chicken Talk was the first one that said it. Then we dropped it. Then a little bit later that day, because I remember hitting Jason up and saying, "Oh, now Fight Hype as announced the June 17th date as well. So if Floyd Mayweather is running Fight Hype, then why the hell did they have the wrong date, which was June 17th, the same date we had?
I never saw that on Fight Hype.
I saw it. I saw it.
Because I always check Fight Hype. Once Floyd said that Fight Hype will announce the fight, that's when I started checking it, because Floyd said it wasn't happening. And that's when Bud took that fight. So that's
hey man, listen.
Going back to Greg's point, that's when he took the fight.
Floyd ain't got no piece in this.
No,
well, y'all keep saying that. So y'all know he's not partners with Al Heyman. That's both of y'all know that for a fact.
Yeah, we know he's partners with Al Heyman.
Okay, so if that's your business partner and we making money together, we making decisions together. If that man says this fight ain't happening, don't y'all think he knows if it got to run through Al? Why is it so hard for everybody to believe that Floyd through Al knows when this fight was going to happen? If they making money together, if they partners, as he says. That's what I don't understand, why y'all everybody's discounting and discrediting Floyd this whole time. But Floyd says, shit, I'm partners with this man. I talk to him every day. So if this fight was happening, I would know. So that's all I'm keep saying. I'm going to keep saying that because there was no contract sent. I'm tired of this idea of a contract. Bud said no contract was sent.
Real quick, I just dropped the Fight Hype video in the chat for everybody that want to see Fight Hype, saying that it's going to be on June 17th. So if Floyd Mayweather is in cahoots with Fight Hype or owns Fight Hype, they had it wrong just like we had it wrong. So Floyd don't know anything.
All right, I'm going to have to check that. Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I ain't hear Fight Hype announce nothing. We'll have to see because
I just got to kill all your narratives, but go ahead. What's your next narrative that you want me to kill?
In any event, what he was trying to say was Bud was scared of the PBC fighters. It's crazy because Bud would have been a heavy favorite against any of those fighters and would have beat the brakes, just like he didn't want to fight my man. He didn't want to fight him. It was easy work. All he wanted to fight was Spence, bro. Because if y'all notice, Bud goes after the top dog. He don't want to fight nobody in between. He goes after the head. So right after he beats Spence, where is he saying he's going next? He's going after Jamel, right? The head. He don't go after no little fish. He going after the big fish. What's wrong with that? I don't get it. Like when he first came into the league, when he first came from 140 to 147, who did he say he wanted to fight? Thurman. You're right. Thurman. Why would he want to fight Errol? Thurman was the big fish. That's right. He goes after the big fish. Whoever the big guy at the division, that's who he wants to fight. What's wrong with that?
So can I ask you a question?
Everybody got a problem with that. I don't get it.
I don't have a problem with that, but I want to ask you a question. So I've heard you in the past when you've come on this show basically say that Errol Spence had been ducking him for years, since 2018. But you're okay with Terence Crawford coming into the division and setting his sights on Keith Thurman. So you must also then be okay with Errol Spence already in the division, setting his sights on Keith Thurman and not necessarily being worried about somebody that's on the other side of the street. Therefore, your argument that you've made in the past relative to Errol Spence ducking Terence Crawford since 2018 is null and void based off of your own acknowledgement that you're okay with Terence Crawford going after Keith Thurman.
No, my problem with that, Greg, is that the man, it wasn't a problem. First of all, you got to understand, when he said he was going to, listen, when he said he was going to fight his side of the street, obviously I'm not happy with that or whatever, but I wasn't calling him a duck at that time. I didn't start calling him a duck until he said 60-40, and then he was acting like he didn't want to fight. When they went to the press conference, he said, "All right, where to go, Terence? Why is he at my fight?" Who says that, bro? Why is he at my fight? He want to fight you, bro. Don't you want his belt? So he started acting a little, a little wishy-washy, like he didn't want to fight at all. So that's when I started calling him a duck.
Terence,
Do
you remember the comment that he made at the press conference? He said that he didn't even want this, so why he at my fight? He said he didn't want to fight me, so I don't understand why is he at my fight. That's what he was responding to, because he said the guy said that he didn't want to fight me, so now why is he at my fight? I mean, he literally said that during the press conference, bro.
But Greg, the guys at your fight, I don't care that he didn't want to fight. He wants to fight now. Good. Let's talk.
What are you saying?
You know what I'm saying? Who cares if the guy said something in the past that he didn't want? You think if Canelo came to Andre fight, he gonna say, "Oh man, you said you ain't want to fight." No, he gonna say, "Yeah, I'm glad you here now. Let's get it on." You know what I'm saying?
So
who says that though? That don't make sense. That don't compute. And then why is the man running out of the arena after he beat Porter? Shouldn't he stay there and say, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, now we're getting closer to that fight"? Why he running out the arena? Y'all gotta admit it was some suspect stuff done by Errol Spence in this whole thing. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. So there's posturing, right? People posture, right? So Errol Spence said 60-40. He said, "Why are you coming to my fight?" This is posturing for negotiations later. Similarly, Terence Crawford mentioned that the fight is past me. It's in my rear view mirror. I'm not taking that fight.
It's not happening.
Right. So he talking. So he talking crazy. So either you're okay with both guys talking crazy, or you believe both guys are posturing. But you can't say that I feel like one guy. How can one guy say, "Why is he at my fight?" But then the other guy saying that I don't ever want to. This fight is behind me. This fight is never going to happen.
This is why. Because Errol was the start of it. If Errol said he's going to fight everybody on his side of the street, why even throw out a 60-40? Just say, "Listen, we're going to get this on when I'm done with on my side of the street." Why even throw out 60-40 if you know you ain't really trying to fight this man right now anyway? You know what I'm saying? It almost seemed like it was a red herring. He's just trying to throw something else so he don't have to fight the man. It just
the 60-40. The split talk started when they were around the Ugas fight. The 60-40 was probably real, but the 80-20 was a joke.
But that same question, though, I'm talking about 80-20. That's what I'm talking about. 80-27-30.
Yeah, but all of that stuff started occurring around the split talk started occurring around the Ugas time frame. So clearly,
Ugas. What y'all mean, Ugas? No, that happened way before. You mean when he fought Ugas for the title?
Yeah, like when they first started
that 60-40 happened way before that, bro.
That was before
way
that.
Before that.
It was not way before that. That was like, man, go look at the truth behind Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Like, it's documented there, bro. Like, it was like late 20, like maybe mid 2020 to somewhere in 2021 when all the split talk started happening, bro. Like that was he had one more belt to get, and now he's talking about split talk because after he gets that belt, he's gonna go after Terence Crawford. So
I have to look at that because
you create
maybe
bro.
I got my time frames wrong because I thought he said that way before, but I have to look at that.
A lot of other stuff wrong too, Terrence.
Huh? What you said?
You got all the other stuff wrong too.
Well, wait, I didn't hear what Jason said. What did he say? What did he say? Smart.
You got a lot of other stuff wrong too.
Nah, man, ain't too much wrong here. All I know is, and then why y'all ain't get on that man Hills for saying that Bud could have fought August? Y'all know that couldn't happen. Why y'all ain't correct that man? Y'all just let him say that Bud could have fought August, and y'all know that was a blatant untruth.
I knew you were gonna call in, so there was no need for me to say anything.
Every man said, I'm just saying, people say so crazy. Listen, we should be happy. The fight's happening, and why are you Earl people still talking about the past, bro? Let it go. Let it go. Y'all still, what y'all upset about right now? Y'all man about to beat Bud, right? Y'all about to shut Bud up. Why y'all still upset about the past and bringing this up?
What you mean, Terence Crawford? Terence Crawford. Did you not just see Terence Crawford on $1 million worth of game? He brought up all that shit.
They made her break it. You see, the interviewers were doing that, man. They were poking at the bear because listen, they were poking at him saying, "Oh yeah, he got the better resume." He didn't bring that out until they said it. And you gonna say that to that man? Don't he gotta defend himself at that point? If the interviewer is going at you saying, "Oh, this man got a better resume," he gotta point out the stuff that why he couldn't fight these guys.
That's fine.
They were freezing him out. He gotta tell the truth.
Hey, that's
he ain't
fine.
gonna sit there.
He ain't gonna sit there and just say, "Hey, yeah, he got the best resume because I was fighting cab drivers." Come on, bro. Y'all know that's not gonna happen.
That's fine, but then you can't be mad that we talking about it today.
No, I'm just saying. Even before that interview, it's like people are so mad. It's still these Errol fans are so mad. Like Buck been ducking. He has not been ducking this fight at all. They even asked this man. They asked the interviewer. Setback, I think, asked Errol, whose fault is it that this fight hasn't happened? And Errol would not say it was Bud. So come on, man.
Nah, come on, man. He's being diplomatic. Hey, man, what you think the man gonna say? He's trying to get the man to sign the contract, bro. What do you think he's gonna say? Yeah, it's all his fucking fault. The man, he says it's his fault. All of a sudden, Bud makes an excuse and not his contract not signed. He gonna say whatever to get him to sign on the dotted line. Come on now.
You want him to burn him, Terrence. You want him just to go in.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. But listen, man. Y'all gonna be crying, bro. I mean, what's gonna happen to you Errol channels when Bud knock you out, though? Y'all gonna come up. Y'all gonna have the channel still. Romero, half the internet gonna be down. Boxing internet gonna be down. What's going on? Because y'all know he's losing. Y'all know he's losing this fight, right?
You got to change it all, aren't you? No more Terrence best videos. Huh? No eye socket videos. No real videos. What you gonna call yourself after that?
Who's favorite in this fight? Right. Bud's favorites. They know what we see. You see, those people who put all of that money, these guys, they study everything. So if they're favoring the fighter, they're telling you, bro, this guy has more skills. You're not going to be able to bum rush this man with your head down throwing that jab because he's going to come over the top of that jab and make you eat that right hand all day. You don't want to do that. I mean, what is this? You said, Greg, he has. I know last time you said that he has a chance. I just don't see it. Don't see no chance for Earl to win this fight, bro. So, I mean, Terrence, I have to give him credit for taking the fight, but
we can't see them. He already took his eyeballs.
Yeah, you've been following this channel now since for a while now, bro. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Do we appear to be sheep?
No.
Exactly. So I got my own opinion. I don't give a damn what nobody else is saying about what they see. I see what I see, and I feel like Errol Spence is gonna win.
I mean, I've heard what you said, but I don't get it because you think so if they stand in the middle of the ring, so you're saying that you think Errol could jab and outbox him in the middle of the ring, yes or no?
I don't think he has to outbox Terence Crawford, man. I just think he needs to punish his ass.
So don't you, to punish somebody, you got to come forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can punish somebody. Yeah, you can move forward, punish them. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, so isn't Bud pretty good on the back foot?
As of recent, not really. Against a guy like Porter. Against a guy like Porter that has to leap in to get his punches off, yeah. Against Errol Spence, no.
Okay. Well, what if he sidesteps him? He don't have to back straight up. He can sidestep Errol.
Yeah, you don't think
coming forward like that, Errol's not. I mean, Bud's not gonna catch him. And at some point, he's not gonna catch Errol. The question is, if he catches him, can Errol hang on to the close of that round? No one has been able to do it so far, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Brian S. agreed with you. He said, no, Greg, Terence Crawford cold off that back foot. I mean, he was cold off the back foot. I think you guys are going to be surprised that he is not as effective as you may think he would be against Errol Spence. I think you're going to be surprised.
Can you think, okay, one more thing before I go, Greg. Can y'all think of, either one of you, Jason or Greg, think of, even if it was a Hagler, because Hagler to me is one of the best come forward fighters I could think of with tremendous skills. He was a come forward fighter going against an elite fighter like I think Crawford is in Leonard. That's where, if you're coming forward like that, you're not going to just beat an elite fighter just coming forward. That's why. And Hagler had all of the skills in the world. I think he was more skillful than Errol. So that's why I just don't see a come forward fighter beating an elite boxer. Just don't see it, but we'll see.
My thing is, I feel what you're saying. Terence Crawford ain't no Sugar Ray. Just like Errol said, he ain't no Floyd. Anything else you want to share with the people before we go?
Another check left hook for you, Terrence. You got
anything else, man? Before we move to the next, anything else? Oh, I just gave you a nice little check hook. I just hit you with a check hook before I got you.
No letters. All right. Well, listen. One more thing. If he beats Errol and if he beats Jamel, come on, bro. Y'all got to put him up in that category now. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop talking. Y'all got to. He's up in that Leonard talk. At that point,
if he does both, he's a top 5 fighter. The only reason why I wouldn't give him more credit is because he basically kind of pussyfooted his way there. He let everybody else work and get the belts, and then he just came in for one fight. So I will give him credit, but not full credit. Anything else you want to share with the people?
That's all. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I appreciate you calling in, Terrence.
Talk to y'all next time.
All right, man. Later.
All right, later.
That was Terrence from Best Damn Videos. And now we got the 313 in the building. You're on the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. What's your name, bro?
Oh, man, this is Charles, man, coming from Detroit, man.
Charles Young?
What's going on, Charles?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
What's going on? Hey, man, let me tell y'all something, man. I take my hat off to y'all, man. Dealing with these Bud fans, man, you got to have a lot of mental fortitude. Like, oh, my God, man. Dealing with a Bud fan, man, you'll tell a Bud fan, hey, the sky is blue outside. They'll go outside and say, yeah, you know what? The sky is blue, but I see a little bit of green, though. Like,
oh, man.
Yeah, man, but I'm going to be quick, man. I want to say, I had a different approach on this Spence versus Crawford fight until I heard that $1 million worth of game interview from Crawford, and I really think that made it worse for Crawford. I think Spence is gonna just beat him up. I don't think Spence wants to knock out no more, because when I was listening to that interview, man, he went down to his resume. He was discrediting his resume. He just did everything in the world, and you know how Spence is, man. Spence hears everything. You know, he might not reply to it, but he hear everything, and I think he's taking a note to everything that he's hearing Bud saying. And I think that he probably just gonna want to beat him up, and it's gonna either have to take a bowl match to throw in the towel, or one of the doctors or the refs to stop the fight.
Hey, Charles, Bomac ain't throwing no towel. He gonna throw those Cheetos in. He ain't gonna have no towel.
Hey, you know what? Bomac gonna empty out the bag of Cheetos first, because you know he ain't gonna waste no Cheetos. He just gonna throw the bag out there.
But he might throw a towel. The towel just gonna have a whole bunch of Cheeto stuff on it.
Oh yeah, and one thing too, man. That guy on the last call, man. That guy on the last call, like, he was just so wrong, man. Like, Bud offered Danny like $2 million. Like, come on, bro. Like, you can't offer a guy like Danny $2 million. And then Thurman did send in a $10 million offer. But if you remember, it was a Thurman interview. Thurman was saying he was expecting them to negotiate. He said $10 million was just his highest point. He said he could have talked down till they reach a negotiation. And then for the Sean Porter part, for a long time, Bud was saying that him and Sean Porter was friends, and he didn't want to fight Sean Porter because that was his friend. So I don't know what that other guy was talking about.
My thing is this. So Terence Crawford fans will use that as evidence that Terence Crawford wanted fights with all these guys, sending a contract for $2 or $3 million to Danny Garcia, who they know more than likely that's not enough money for him to risk against another elite fighter at 147 pounds. But then in the same breath be upset that or then try to justify Terence Crawford walking away because it wasn't enough money to fight Errol Spence. Like, how does it go one way and not the other, right? You're okay when Terence Crawford is doing it because, man, I guarantee, you know, whatever the case may be. But then conversely, when they're not offering a fighter enough money to make an elite level fight like that, then that's okay. The guy must be ducking Bud. Come on, bro. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't. You know what I was thinking too? Like, that's why I thought, I mean, I really think in my heart, I mean, let's just be real. You know, fighters, I don't think no fighter is scared of a fighter, but I think that Bud has some reserve about fighting Spence, because on the other note, he's talking about he wants this much money, right? But on that Akin Barak interview, he told them that he had enough money to just go ahead and retire, that he ain't got to fight no more. So, bro, if you got enough money to retire and you ain't got to fight no more, then why are you making the Spence fight all about money?
Yeah, that's fair.
Facts.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, Like, just get in there and fight him. I think it would have been better. It probably would have been better for him to just go ahead and once he got that belt from Horn, just went ahead and went to PBC. And that way, even if he did lose, he still would have had more chances to get more title shots because of the body of welterweights that's over at the PBC. But now he's stuck in a position to where, like, it's either do or die. Like, bro, if Spence going here and just, like, demolish you, not only you going to get dragged by social media and all the stuff you've been saying, but people going to start putting your career and your resume up for question now. And then you at an age now to where, you know, Spence put damage on you. Like, even Sean Porter said it. He said after that Spence fight, like, he was hurt. Like, he had to get his hips checked out because Spence was hitting him in his hips. And he said he took a lot of damage from Spence. And I really think that the Porter and Crawford fight, I think that Porter didn't even want to win, honestly. And this is me. This is just my opinion. I don't think he wanted to win. I think Porter would have known, like, man, if I beat Crawford, I got to fight Spence for undisputed. And I ain't trying to bang with him no more because I'm already hurt.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, man, but that's just my take, man. I ain't want to take up too long, man. But I appreciate y'all, man. I've been watching y'all, man, for a minute, man. And I want to say, man, y'all do an excellent job, man. Just topics, from having actual facts. And I love when y'all made that timeline of just Terence Crawford and just like his whole timeline of shenanigans, man. I appreciate y'all. And, you know, the sport of boxing need y'all, you know, because, man, you got a lot of people out here that just come out with different, like, you know, podcasts or just, like, different, like, you know, channels, man. They just spit straight garbage, man.
I appreciate that, man. And, you know, we do our best. So we try to be as factual as possible and give people information and try to be as unbiased as we possibly can, although people will say that that's probably not the case, but it is what it is. But nah, man, we appreciate your support, man. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, no problem. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Later.
All right, later.
We got the 84804 in the building, but first, give me 1 second. We got 175 people in the building, 147 likes. If you haven't had the opportunity, please hit that like button or the dislike button, but make sure that you're engaging. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you become a subscriber because we are always dropping content on a daily basis. And don't forget to go and subscribe to Chicken Talk as well as the Mic Check podcast. Who do we have in the building?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Jay.
Jay, what's going on with you, bro?
What's happening, man?
All right. I just got one question. I just need to know your opinion. What's next for Keith Thurman?
Oh, that's a great question, man. I have no idea what could possibly be next for Keith Thurman.
147 right now.
147. I would love to see him in the ring with Bruce Ennis because I actually think his style would give him problems just based off of the last fight that he had. But I don't think that's going to happen. At 147, bro, who could Keith possibly fight now at 147?
That's what I'm looking at now. Let's see. So Keith, I mean,
maybe Villa.
Cody Crowley just fought not too long ago.
I mean, who really wants to see Keith Thurman in the ring with Villa?
I don't know. Unless he can make his way up to 154 and try to get a mandatory spot with Charlo. I mean, beat Thurman to the punch.
He gonna get his ass blasted up out of there too.
Yeah, he would.
Now somebody just mentioned Thurman versus Ugas. Now I think that's a possibility. I thought
Ugas was Mario Barrios.
Fighting Barrios, yeah.
Oh, he's already signed to fight Mario Barrios?
I don't know if he's signed, but that's a rumor. I think it was for a WBC mandatory, I believe, or a WBA mandatory.
But remember, if it's for the WBC, that was prior to this fight being announced. So, and Keith Thurman technically was a WBC mandatory. So, if it's for the WBC, I could see the probability or the possibility that Keith Thurman could then replace one of those guys in that fight. If it's for the WBC, I don't know if that's what it's truly being mandated for, but
I don't see any route outside of Bruce Ennis that he can take, unless he goes like I said, unless he goes to 154, trying to end the mandatory there.
Right. I don't know, man. That's a great question. Maybe he can fight on the undercard.
Someone said Thurman versus Blair.
Pride won't let Keith Thurman fight on the undercard.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being funny. What were you saying, Jay?
Someone in the chat said Thurman versus Kyle's press conference would be legendary. It would.
Oh, it would. It would be so funny.
Oh man, I forgot about Blair the Flair, man. That would be I forgot about Blair the Flair.
That would be so damn funny.
That would be more of an entertaining fight, commercial fight. But I forgot all Blair the Flair though.
Yeah, I think Keith Thurman beats the shit out of Blair.
I do too.
Yeah, definitely. But I was just wanted to know your opinion on Keith Thurman because, I mean,
he getting the shitty end of the stick right
now. The door's
now.
closing for Keith Thurman. I think right now he's just looking for paydays. I don't even think he's worried about a title shot.
I think that's exactly right. But anything else you want to share with the people?
Oh no, that's it. Appreciate y'all. Happy holiday. Be safe.
Same to you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Appreciate you.
All right.
You are on the Angry Man podcast with Jason and Greg. Who do we have in the building?
Oh, man, Dog Money.
What's going on with you, bro?
What's going on with it? Hey, man, I want to touch on the fact that the whole Crawford Spence fight, it was an inside play. Mm-hmm. It all started really on Trill Boxing Talk. Black Fight Fan, he went all the way to Omaha, Nebraska to talk to those guys. And the problem was Terence Crawford, he was still at 140. But he was on his way up to 147. And they like, man, Spence won't even mention Crawford's name. They basically asked Black Fight Fan to ask Spence to call out Crawford. And that's where the fight started at. And they were trying to build a fight for when everybody knew Crawford's contract was coming up to an end with Top Rank. Instead of him coming to the PBC to fight Spence, he leveraged the fact that Spence had been calling him out and the people had been talking about that fight. He leveraged that to re-sign a contract with Top Rank. The same way he leveraged the Spence fight again to sign that fight with David Avenesia. And that's the truth right there. So the dude, he's been disingenuous from day one, man.
I don't disagree with the fact that he's been disingenuous. I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, you can go back, man. They had, even on Trill Boxing Talk, what's it called? It's not, that channel's not open anymore, but they had Bo Mac call in talking about getting the popcorn popping between those two guys. You know what I mean? Because Spence wasn't even thinking about Terence Crawford. And that's where that's the channel that built the fight and started the fight. That's where the Terence Crawford, Errol Spence talk came from. And, so it was like this dude knew that they were supposed to be setting up a big fight, but instead of doing it, he did everything to avoid the fight, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the first mistake he made was when he re-signed the Top Rank. You know what I mean? That was but he was still using Spence's name. Every time he get ready to fight, he started calling for Errol Spence. But as soon as he get through fighting, he don't say nothing else about Errol Spence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even after the David Avenesia fight, he wouldn't even call Errol Spence's name after that fight.
Not at all.
What I mean? So, but anyway, that's all I wanted to touch bases about. I know this is, for some people, this is new information. For some people, it's old information. But the thing I'm trying to tell you is, man, the guy is, kind of like a fraud. You know what I mean? It's like, me and you, we make a play together, but instead of me following through on what I say, I do something different. You know what I mean?
Yep, I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my call. I know other people want to call in and get it off.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, bro. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Later. Guys, we're going to take 2 more calls, and then we're going to wrap it up for today's show. So we'll see what the next couple of calls are, and we'll go from there, Jay. Or unless we don't have any more calls, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But nah, man, this has been an interesting show. I knew that there was going to be a lot of energy around talking about Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Okay, we got 2 people calling in, so we're going to take this first one. 909, you'll be the last call that we take, so call us back. We got the 443 in the building. Who do we have on the line?
Troy Graham, Baltimore. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
I was just listening. Well, you know what I can say? That I'm happy for the fight, not super excited because it took too long, but I'm definitely gonna watch it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I don't believe one channel has the power to actually make a fight happen. Mm-hmm. You can talk about the fight, but you don't have the power to make any fight happen. Yep. None of us on social media do, because I have my own page too, and my own channel too, and nobody, no social media person, unless they have a couple of million or billion subscribers, has the power to say, okay, we can make a fight happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely don't believe that Crawford has been running away from anything. It's just that we the boxing fans, and a lot of this starts on social media, we've seen behind the curtain a little bit too much, and there's a lot of people on here who think that they know everything, who think they're accountants, who think they're managers, and don't know anything in the first. You just gotta let it flow and let it happen. That's all that it is, man. Playing these sides. I don't like this one because it doesn't matter which promotional company you're with. I'm 40-52. But listen, there was a Top Rank, there was a Don King. Those 2 men hated each other, but they love money, and they always made fights happen. So how come they can't get fights to work today? Because they're 2 different promotional companies. That's a bunch of garbage. This whole crossing the street thing is garbage. But let's just be happy about the fight, fans, and not worried about yesterday and this and that and yesterday. Focus on today, man, and be happy. Peace out.
All right, man. Great call. All right, that was a 443 calling in, man, giving his thoughts on it. The only disagreement I have is that this is the Angry Man Podcast, and we do have the power to make fights. I'm bullshit. I'm just talking. But yeah, man, 909, man, we'll take your call now if you call back in, and it'll be the last call for the day. So 909, give us a call back.
You know what's funny, Greg?
What's that?
No one gives a damn about BLK Prime no more. They just fell by the wayside. All the people that said, if you don't support Bud, then you got to be a BLK Prime last year, and that talk just ended.
Yeah, it did. It did, didn't it? Damn, that's crazy.
Paid Bud that money, got nothing.
Okay, this is the 909 calling in. This is the last call of the day. 909, you're in the building with Jason and Greg. What's your name?
What up, man? This is Bruce Leroy. I called before one time.
Yeah, what's going on, Bruce Leroy?
What's happening, man?
You said what now?
Oh, you saying what's happening with you?
Oh, okay. I'm chilling, man. I was just curious, man. I wanted to know, get the particulars and make sure I was right. Now, this $10 million deal is for 2 fights, right?
I think the $10 million is just for this fight.
But it's a 2-fight deal. He got a rematch clause, or it's a rematch with Spence if he wants it, or if it's a different fight. I'm wrong. That's not how it is.
Yeah, so it's a 2-fight deal. There's a rematch with Spence, but if he doesn't take the rematch with Spence, then he has to fight another fight on PBC, is my understanding.
Right, and that $10 million is for. It's not $10 million a piece. It's $10 million for those 2 fights. So basically, $5 million each fight.
No, I don't think. I think it's $10 million for this fight.
Oh, okay. So it's $10 million both fights.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure about that because I'm like, I don't think that's what it is. But I wanted to get y'all take, man. What y'all think happened with Jay La Hoya with the whole signing with Golden Boy? That just fell apart.
No, honestly, I think Errol Spence did exactly what he said he was going to do, which was circle the block. And I think they started a negotiation process. because Terence Crawford had one or two options. It was either to fight Rocha or to fight Errol Spence. And I think personally, and I don't have any inside information on this. Oh, actually, I have heard this from a source, but I do believe that that the whole situation in terms of Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis and the numbers that they were able to garner with their fight back in April helped play a part in going ahead and getting this thing to settle out right, because now you have an idea of what kind of numbers you could possibly do if these two were to actually get in the ring. So I do think that helped make the fight.
Oh, okay. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. One more thing though, because y'all remember my last call. I don't know, maybe y'all don't remember my last call, but I told y'all I don't feel like Bud wants this fight. When I seen the ESPN First Take interview, I seen the same nervous energy that he had in that goofy IG live that he did.
Yeah,
interesting. Looking like he's trying to, huh?
I said interesting.
Yeah, that's just what I saw, bro. I do not believe this man wants this fight. And he needs to shut his mouth, because that $1 million worth of game interview is like, okay, bro, you still talking and saying little slick stuff. And Errol just sitting back quiet, focused, just like you saw him in that ESPN First Take interview. You just see the look on Errol's face. He looks upset. He looks really mad. I don't know what happened with this deal. I don't know if Errol gave up something that he not used to giving up, but he looked like, I'm finna punish this thing. He was being respectful, but he just got this look like, I'm about to kill this dude.
Yeah, he already looks like one of those guys that have been in training camp and they've not gotten aggravated because they're trying to make the weight. He already looks like he's at that point. Like, he looks very agitated.
Yeah, he do. And I just, I don't believe this man wants this fight. I think it was either take this fight or retire a straight up ducking bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else was he going to do? And they allowing him to cash out. And that's the only reason he's taking the fight. If it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have took this fight. He would have kept on running, just like he tried to when he was trying to go to Golden Boy. So I ain't buying it. I do not think homie wants this fight. I can see him getting in there looking very tentative. Hopefully he don't jump out the ring and run, and Errol chase him all the way to the locker room and beat his ass all the way to the locker room. Because I just do not see him on this fight. But that's all I got, man. I rock with y'all show, man. I appreciate it. I'll be tapping back in with y'all.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling in, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, later. So, man, we're going to wrap up the show. I appreciate everybody that has joined the show. One thing, Jay, I wanted to call out is, sometimes people are in the comment section, they'll preface their comments by saying, hey, man, I rock with y'all, but, man, you ain't got to preference your comment if you're going to disagree with us. Just disagree, bro. Like, we look forward to seeing different points of views and how you see it versus how we see it. I don't think, some people maybe they don't always see it, but like people like Tunnel Vision, man, he disagrees with us all the time. The Deuce Daily disagrees with us all the time. Brendan McDonald does. Everybody disagrees with us. So it's perfectly okay. Jason Williams all the time. It's perfectly okay to do so. And you don't have to preface your comments by saying, I rock with y'all, but state your opinion. And I'm looking forward to seeing your opinion. So, what else, Jay? Of course, we're going to have content dropping in the next couple of days. We actually got content that's already recorded that we haven't even dropped. We'll probably drop it over the next couple of days. Jay, I know we need to do that poll, so we need to set up the pound-for-pound poll so that we can publish that for Q2 of this year. We want AM Sports Media subscribers to actually vote on who's the pound-for-pound. And you're going to vote on the top 10 so that we can publish that and do a video on it. Jay, anything else?
Nah, that's it. I mean, today was just about, Spence and Bud, because we ain't even talk about, other stuff, but we'll hit y'all up with some videos about that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, appreciate you guys. Again, let's give some love to the folks that's in the chat. Brian S. Brian S. is a member of the channel. It's $2.99 a month, guys. Consider becoming members of the channel. The $2.99, I know it sounds like it's not very much, but it helps the channel in terms of being able to produce some of these documentaries and things like that we're currently doing. So consider that. We got Harrison Brooks in the building. He is also a member. Tunnel Vision, Levi Anthony, Brenda McDonald, my guy Easy Bands. We know Jason Williams was in the building earlier. The League of Legacy.
Jackie Hernandez.
Jackie Hernandez. Thank you for your contribution. Cool.
Jay Miller.
JC26 that called me out about Bob Arum or Arum, however you want to say it. Benaya Wright. Jay Miller, thank you for your contribution. Jay, who all gave us a contribution? We know Tunnel Vision gave us. Yeah, Ray Sanders,
Vision,
Heaven Williams.
and Jackie.
Yep. Yeah, so it's a bunch of people that were in the building today. Charles Young and everybody that called in today. Terrence of Terrence Best Videos. And also make sure you go check out Chicken Talk, again, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard every Saturday. I might have said p.m. last time, but it's a.m. And then T Ward, the Mic Check Podcast, like a sister channel of us, so make sure you go check them out. And that's pretty much it, guys. Appreciate you guys calling in, and we'll have another show for you Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do it every Sunday. We usually run somewhere around 2 hours, maybe a little bit over, depending on the day. But yeah, make sure you guys join us, man. And if you haven't hit the like button yet, please go ahead and hit the like button. Smash that on the way out, and make sure that you share and like and subscribe to the channel on your way out. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Peace.